A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now, the life of Mary Sothern. Today, Mary Sothern has seen the district attorney's lightning trial turn against her husband, Max. She has seen Max's story laughed to scorn. Charles Cheney's fake evidence trying to help Max. Dr. John Benson almost confessing his love for Mary from the witness stand. Even Reverend Blaine's confused testimony for the man he knows to be innocent is counted and nullified. But with her happiness, Max's liberty, Phyllis Stratford's health, even John Benson's future hanging on an acquittal, she was somewhat confident that Max would be acquitted. Well, the defense finally rested. The jury went out, deliberated briefly. When it returned, the verdict was guilty. It is evening in the Fulton jail, where Max Sanders is being held, pending transportation to the state penitentiary. Mary is with him in the cell. She is dangerously calm, the lull before the storm.
Well, Mary, I'm glad you came down.
I didn't go home after the trial.
Well, sure glad you're here. All right.
It's all over now, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all over now, right? Yes, sir.
Better having it all over, isn't it? And we were prepared for it, a little.
Well, yeah, we were set for it pretty good.
How do you feel, Max?
Okay. Same as usual, I guess. How about you?
Max, did you ever take an anesthetic to have a tooth pulled and it doesn't hurt at all? Or it does. It does and it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't and then it does. Oh, Max, I don't feel anything. Just numb.
Well, let you take your medicine down here and take it easy for a while, huh?
They're not going to send you to prison.
Well, this ain't breakfast in bed.
But they can't send you to the penitentiary. You didn't do anything. You're innocent.
Well, the court says I was in the gambling racket.
You weren't, Max. You were trying to capture the gangsters yourself.
Now, the court says different. You can't fool the court.
Penitentiary. How long?
Didn't you hear the judge pronounce sentence?
I didn't hear anything, Max. I just heard the foreman say guilty, that's all. Then I got cold all over and numb. My hands are still cold.
Better let me warm up for you.
Hold my hand. Hold them tight. I just turned cold as though I were dying. I didn't hear anything but a roaring noise like the sea.
Look, I think maybe I'll go home and get a good night's rest, huh?
When are they taking you away?
Tomorrow afternoon. Coming in the morning.
How long will you be gone?
Oh, not long.
How long?
A year and a day.
Year and a day.
No, that ain't bad at all. That's very good.
Yes, it's going to be horrible.
Oh, now don't talk that way. A year and a day is nothing.
Nothing?
No.
Forever.
Hey, Mary, look, don't be like that. Please don't cry like that. I feel swell. Honest, kid, I do. I feel swell.
Oh, Daddy.
Now, look, Mary, you know what you said yourself before the trial even started. You said, suppose I do get a sentence. Look how short it is between paying my insurance premiums every year. Now, let's look at it that way, honey. And the first thing you know is... Please, Mary. Try.
Give me a hand.
After all, what's a year? We got lots of years. What's one measly year in a day, anyhow?
What's the day for?
I don't know. Interest, I guess.
Oh, silly. You're a dear clown.
No. I won't cry anymore, will you, huh?
One has to cry once in a while. I'm through now.
Sure.
Oh, who's that coming?
Huh?
Must I go already?
I guess the jailer. There's some room, I guess, Mary. Too dark.
John!
Oh.
It's Dr. John Bates.
Well, Mary. Well, Max.
Hello, fellow. What's the good word, huh?
I hope I'm not intruding, but I wanted to see you, Max.
Oh, that's all right. Nice party. Kind of crowded, but it's nice.
To begin with, Max, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's just the brakes, Doc. I'm not squawking.
Our motion for a retrial was refused, you know.
Oh, yeah?
Well, there was something I could have done.
You did a great deal, John, and we're grateful.
I wonder if there's something you'll let me explain. I mean, about my testimony.
Look, I know all about that, Doc. It was okay.
You don't understand. I mean, when I got up there and blurted out like an idiot that suppose I do love Mary Sanders thing. Believe me, Max, I'm really trying to show that if I love Mary enough to commit perjury for you, as they implied, I'd care enough to want to see you in prison.
Sure, I figured that was the angle. What do you think I am, stupid?
Then did you believe me, Max?
Sure.
You, Mary?
We believe you and trust you, John. You risked your entire reputation, your career for us. It's sweet of you.
And look, Doc, you know what you promised when this thing began. You were going to take care of Mary if, well, what I want to know is, are you ready to stick to your promise now?
Will you let me?
Benson, I want you to take care of Mary while I'm away. I'll make it up to you when I get out.
Okay. Okay. She and the children won't want for anything.
Okay, Mary?
Yes, Nick.
Helen? Yes? Goodbye now.
Goodbye.
Take care of yourself. Tell Phyllis that I want to see her up out of that wheelchair when I get out again.
We'll help Phyllis, Nick.
Sure.
Don't worry.
So long, Doc. Take Charlie. Mary.
All right.
Okay. That's all, Toots. Come up and see me sometime, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Goodbye, Max. Bye.
So long, kid. Look up and down, crossing the street.
John,
Yes?
that's why I love him so much, John. That's why we must be worthy of him.
Yes, Mary.
Yes. Take me home, John.
Yes, John. Take Mary home. This is your first commission in a year and a day of faithful service to the man who trusts you and to the woman you love.
Adventures in time and space. Told in future tense. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, bring you Dimension X. It happened during a routine skirmish in the Great War. Patrols advanced from the defense perimeter under jet cover and preceded by napalm throwers. The enemy defended in depth and mopped up with guided 98s fired from 40 miles to the rear. The blast area was 10 miles in circumference, and the medics didn't find much to pick up over 500 yards in.
Take it in here. Look out, it's lousy with mud.
Okay, man, right me.
More. Cut left.
Okay.
More.
Right.
Hold it. Stretchers.
Come on, drivers, get those men out.
Yes, sir. Get a move on. Line them up. Come on. Easy. You want to kill him? Okay, take it away. Might have left these Joes where they was. Half of them won't last till the plane comes.
As long as they're alive, they'll be treated. Get out the tags, Travis. Start talking names.
Yes, sir. This one must have been 1,000 yards in.
Get his dog tag out.
What a mess. Here. Hartley Allen, Captain G5, Chem Research, AN73D, number SO238694003J.
Alan Hartley?
Alan Hartley.
Well, if that could be the hunter that wrote Children of the Mist and Conqueror's Road.
Never heard of him. Major, I think maybe he's part conscious. Maybe I should give him another shot.
Go ahead, Sergeant. There isn't much else we can do for him. It's a rotten shame.
Ain't it always? Okay, Captain, give me your arm. There.
Get up, Alan. You can't stay in bed all day.
I remember that. Clear as if it were real.
Up and at 'em. Hit the deck.
Remarkably vivid. Strange.
Alan, you all right?
I'm all right. What's wrong with my voice? It's too high.
What are you doing? Practicing singing?
My voice has changed.
Is that all? You're growing up. Happy birthday, son.
Happy birthday?
Hey, wake up, son. Wake up.
I am awake.
Come on, out of bed.
I don't understand.
Breakfast waiting. Now, out of bed or I'll turn it over.
All right. It's a dream.
Maybe, but you're wide awake now.
I am awake now.
Well, half awake anyway.
That's the Bell of St. Boniface, isn't it? What day is it?
You kidding? You forget today's your birthday?
No, I didn't forget.
Neither did I. Here, son. Happy 13th birthday. You won't guess what's in here.
A rifle. A light .22 rifle.
How'd you know that?
I remembered.
Did I spill the beans sometime? I could have sworn it'd be a surprise. Well, go on, open it. Like it?
Yeah, it's perfect, Dad.
I'll be shaving, Alan. Come down to breakfast when you're ready. It's a big day today. You're almost a man.
Almost.
You're still groggy. Snap out of it, Alan.
I will. There's a dream in it somewhere. But I'm not sure which.
What?
Never mind, Dad. I'll be right down for breakfast.
Now for coffee. Mrs. Stauber makes the best in town.
Black for me.
What?
Oh, I mean...
You may be 13, Alan, but that's still a little young for coffee, especially black.
Oh, I wasn't thinking.
What are you going to do today, son?
I want to do some reading this morning, I guess.
That's always a good thing to do. After breakfast, suppose you take a walk down to the station and get me a Times.
Didn't it come?
What, the Times? They don't deliver. Be a good idea, though. Maybe I'll talk to Sam Ashburn about it. Here's $50, Alan. Get anything you want for yourself out of the change.
Thanks, Dad.
Finish your milk before you go.
Oh, sure, Dad.
And hurry back. I like to finish the crossword puzzle before lunch.
Here you are, Alan. 1 times. Tell your father the puzzle's a stinker.
Thanks, Mr. Ashburn.
Look out for the trucks when you cross the highway.
Oh, I'll go across Elton's lot shortcut.
Elton's? You'll have a hard time crossing there, son. There's 4 buildings on that block.
I thought they burned down.
Seen 'em this morning, big as life.
Oh, I guess that didn't happen yet.
What'd you say?
Oh, nothing, Mr. Ashburn. I was just muttering.
In my days, youngsters talked up.
Yes, sir. Bye, Mr. Ashburn. Monday, August 6, 1945. Okinawa 1, bombing Japan.
Hey, Alan, wait up.
Larry Morton. Hiya, Larry.
Hi, Al. Hey, you want to have a catch or something?
No, I have some things I want to do at home.
Wow, get him. Fancy pants talk. Things I want to do at home.
Oh, go chase yourself around the block.
Go jump in a garbage can, will you?
Go take a flying jet to the moon.
Hey, that's a new one. A flying jet to the moon. Hey, you thought up a new one, Al.
Yeah.
Hey, how about us going swimming at the canoe clubs after?
Gee, I wish I could. I gotta stay home. After.
You see the football movie at the Grand? Boy, what a team. Notre Dame.
I thought you liked Cornell.
Cornell? Ha, they couldn't even beat Vassar.
You're going to Cornell, aren't you?
Me? Cornell? Fat chance.
I'll bet you do.
I wouldn't take your money.
I know you wouldn't. You'll go to Cornell, all right.
Cornell. Far above Cayuga's waters, there's an awful smell.
Just the same, you'll go to Cornell. I've got to hurry, Larry.
Well, so long, Al. See ya.
So long, Larry. See ya.
I'm stuck in this corner. A 7-letter word to mix in proportion.
Titrate.
Huh? T-I... It fits. How'd you know that, Alan?
What? Oh, I read it somewhere, I guess.
Oh. What are you reading now, Tarzan again?
No, not Tarzan.
It's refreshing to see you with a book. Sometimes I think I ought to forbid comic books in the house. Yeah, they must be raising the devil with those bombing raids in Japan.
How long do you think the war in Japan will last, Dad?
Oh, I'd say the middle of 1946. We'll have to invade those islands foot by foot.
I wouldn't be surprised if the war was over very suddenly.
How, by magic? There isn't a thing on earth will make those Japanese surrender. You expect somebody to make a pass and it'll be all over by this afternoon?
That's just about it.
Mr. Hartley, excuse me. Could I see you for a minute?
Oh, hello, Mr. Gutchall. Sure.
That's Frank Gutchall, Dad?
That's right.
Excuse me. Didn't mean to disturb you, Mr. Hartley.
That's quite all right. It's a lovely day, isn't it, Mr. Gutchall?
The Lord's world is always beautiful.
Oh, of course, Mr. Gutchall.
Mr. Hartley, I wonder if you could lend me a gun and some bullets.
Huh?
My little dog's been hurt and it's been suffering something terrible.
Oh, it's too bad.
I want a gun to put the poor thing out of its pain.
Oh, of course. How would a 20-gauge shotgun do? You wouldn't want anything heavy.
I was hoping you'd let me have a little gun.
maybe so big.
A pistol?
So I could put it in my pocket. Wouldn't look right for a godly man to carry a hunting gun through town. I don't hold with killing innocent creatures. People wouldn't understand that it was for a work of mercy.
Of course, I understand. You're a very religious man.
The whole world is evil, Mr. Hartley.
Well, sometimes it certainly looks like it. Well, I have a Colt 38 special from the auxiliary police outfit.
That's fine.
You'll have to bring it right back, Mr. Gutchall. I might be called out.
Dad, Dad, wait a minute. I just remembered.
Remembered what, son?
Aren't there some cartridges left for the Luger? Then you wouldn't be without the Colt.
Hey, that's right. I've got a German automatic, Mr. Gutchall, I could let you have. That way I wouldn't get stuck.
Wait, Dad, I'll get it. I know where the cartridges are.
Well, be careful, son. Well, Mr. Gutchall, it sure turned out nice after all that rain.
Hello, police headquarters. This is Blake Hartley. Frank Gutchall, who lives on Campbell Street, has just borrowed a gun from me ostensibly to shoot a dog. What? No, he has no dog. He intends shooting his wife. Yes, I'll take out the firing pin. He'll walk home. If you hurry, you can get a man there in time. Right.
Oh, there you are. What kept you, Alan?
I couldn't find the cartridges at first. I'll show Mr. Gutchall how it works. It's all loaded, ready to shoot. This is the safety. Just push it forward and up. There are 8 shots in it.
Did you load the chamber, Alan?
Oh, sure. It's unsafe now. You understand how it works, Mr. Gutchall?
Yes, I understand. Thank you, Mr. Hartley. Thank you, Sonny. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Miss Gutchall. Return the gun when you're done.
Yes, I'll be done with it soon. Goodbye.
Alan, you shouldn't have loaded that gun.
I guess it's all over now. I had to keep you from fooling with it. Didn't want you to see I took out the firing pin.
You what?
Gutchall didn't want that gun to shoot a dog. He's a fanatic. He sees visions, hears voices. The voices probably put him up to this. I'll submit that any man who holds intimate conversations with disembodied spirits isn't to be trusted with a gun. He wants to shoot his wife.
What are you talking about?
While I was upstairs, I called the police. I put a handkerchief over my mouth and told them I was you.
Why'd you have to do that?
I couldn't have told them. This is little Alan Hartley, 13 years old.
And suppose he really wants to shoot a dog. What kind of a mess will I be in then?
No mess, because I'm right. But you'll have to front for me. They give me a lot of cheap boy hero publicity, which I don't want.
This is crazy, Alan. This is absolutely crazy.
We'll have the complete returns in 20 minutes.
Mr. Hartley, Mr. Blake Hartley?
That's right.
I'm Detective Sergeant Kaborski from Homicide. Here's your Luger.
Thank you.
I don't know how you spotted that guy, but when we busted in, he was pointing that gun at his wife, wearing a blue streak because it wouldn't go off.
Well, I'm glad I was able to help.
They may have some kind of citation, Mr. Hartley.
Oh, I don't think that's necessary.
Well, in the department, we figure a little publicity never hurt nobody. Even a lawyer, huh?
I really prefer to have it kept quiet.
Well, whatever you say. We want you to drop around in the morning for a statement.
I'll be glad to.
Well, thanks, Mr. Hartley. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye, Sonny.
Goodbye, Sergeant. Why don't you take the citation, Dad?
Well, you were right. You saved that woman's life. Let's see you put back the firing pin.
Sure. There.
Suppose we have a little talk.
But I explained everything.
You did not. Yesterday, you wouldn't even have known how to take this pistol apart. Today, you've been using language and expressing ideas that are outside of everything you've ever known before. Now, I want to know.
I hope you're not toying with a medieval notion of obsession.
What?
You say I'm changed. When did you first notice this?
Last night, you were still my little boy. This morning, I don't know. You've been strange all day. Alan, what's happened to you?
I wish I could be sure myself, Dad. You see, when I woke up this morning, all I could remember was lying on a stretcher injured by a bomb explosion. I was 43 years old and the year was 1975.
1975? That's right. You'll be 43 in 1975. But a bomb?
Yes, during the siege of Buffalo in the Third World War. I was a captain in G5 Scientific Warfare General Staff.
Buffalo? You mean Buffalo, New York?
Yes, there had been a transpolar invasion of Canada. I was sent to the front to check on service failures of a new lubricating oil. I got hit by a bomb blast. I remember being picked up and getting a narcotic injection. The next thing I knew, I was in bed upstairs, and it was 1945 again. And I was back in my own 13-year-old body.
Alan, you just had a nightmare to end all nightmares, that's all.
I thought it might be that at first, but I rejected it. It wouldn't fit the facts.
But it's ridiculous. All this Battle of Buffalo stuff. You picked it up listening to the radio. All the commentators have been going on about another war after this one. You've just got an undigested chunk of H.V. Calvin born in your subconscious.
But that isn't everything. I remember 4 years of high school, 4 years at Cornell, 7 years as a reporter on the Philadelphia Record, 3 novels, Children of the Mist, Rose of Death, and Conqueror's Road. I wrote detective stories under a phony name. I worked in chemistry. You think a 13-year-old can dream up all that stuff?
Well, it's the only possible explanation.
Maybe, but I can speak 5 languages today that I couldn't yesterday. French, German, Chinese, Russian, and Spanish. Although I've got a Mexican accent you could cut with a knife.
But how did it happen? I can't believe it.
All I know is here I am. I've been reading up on time theories. Nobody seems to know much about them. Evidently, time exists parallel as another dimension. And I've got kicked backwards and somehow...
But how?
It may have been the radiations from the bomb. Or the narcotic injection. Or both together. But the fact remains I'm here with full knowledge of my future identity.
This is quite a shock, Alan.
But you do believe me, don't you?
Yes, I suppose I must. You seem so strange, as if you weren't my son.
I'm your son, all right. The same body as yesterday. I've just had an educational shortcut.
Wait a minute. If you can remember the next 30 years, suppose you tell me when the war is going to end. This one against the Japs, I mean.
Sure. The Japanese surrender will be announced at exactly 7:01 p.m. on August 14th, a week from Tuesday. Better make sure we have plenty of grub in the house by then. Everything will be closed up tight till Thursday morning. Even the restaurants. I remember we had nothing to eat in the house but some scraps.
Tuesday week? That's pretty sudden, isn't it?
Not after today.
What do you mean, what happened today?
Plenty. Oh, what time is it, Dad?
11:16.
Is your watch right?
To the second, why?
It'll come at exactly 11:17:40.
What'll come?
The radio announcement.
What are you getting at? Something important on the radio? We'll see.
Don't bother, Dad. It won't work. I remember we had a tube burned out.
Yeah, there is something wrong. What is this announcement of yours?
I memorized it in journalism school at Columbia in 1954. What time is it?
11:18.
They're breaking into the programs now. President Truman has just announced that an atomic bomb has been dropped on the Japanese industrial city of Hiroshima. The bomb was dropped 16 hours ago, and the announcement was delayed to ascertain the results of the explosion. A man named John Howard Peterson read the announcement from the Washington newsroom of NBC.
I don't believe it.
No? Listen. That's the Burt Plate factory whistle and the bells at St. Boniface. Next, the whistle at the volunteer firehouse.
And it's true. It is true.
Sure. Then Larry Morton came by on his bicycle.
Hey, Al, you hear? You hear about the bomb? An atomic bomb.
Yeah, we heard.
Boy, atomic bomb. Oh, boy. I gotta go find my pop. He's on the golf course. Bye, Al. Bye, Mr. Hartley.
You knew. You knew about it.
The next bomb hit Nagasaki.
I thought that stuff about atomic energy was so much fantasy. What? Was that the kind of bomb that got you?
That was a firecracker compared to the one that got me. It was a guided 98, exploded 10 miles away.
And that's going to happen in 30 years?
I remember it.
How about me? Oh, wait, never mind. I don't think I better know when I'm going to die.
I couldn't tell you anyway. I had a letter from you just before I left for the front. You were 78 then, and you were still hunting and fishing and flying your own plane.
But another war and fought on American soil. Alan, I wish this hadn't happened to you.
It happened. I remember it. But if I can help it, I'm not going to get killed in any Battle of Buffalo.
But if you remember it, if time exists as a parallel dimension, then every tick we're getting closer to that Third World War.
Dad, you know what I remembered when Gutcho came to borrow that gun?
Well, I suppose that you suspected him and warned me.
No, that wasn't it. The other time, the first time, when I was really 13. I wasn't home. I'd been swimming at the canoe club with Larry Morton. When I got home about half an hour from now, I found the house full of cops.
But if the gun didn't fire...
What makes you think it didn't? Gutcho talked the 38 out of you, went home, shot his wife 4 times in the body, once behind the ear, and used the 6th shot to blow his own brains out.
That's what you remember?
Yes, but now it hasn't happened because I warned you. Dad, I found out the future can be changed.
One man can't change the whole future.
I stopped the murder and the suicide.
I know, son,
With 30 years to work, I can stop a world war. I'll have the means.
The means?
Unlimited wealth and influence. I've got a good memory, Dad. Wrote a list out this afternoon. Look at this.
Assault, jet pilot, citation, Ponda, middle ground, counter... What is this, code?
Horses. That's a list of Kentucky Derby winners from 1946 to 1970.
You sure?
I learned that list on a bet at the Officers Club in Cincinnati in 1971. Assault paid 8-1. You figure out what we can take in.
Oh, but gambling,
This
son.
isn't gambling. It's a sure thing. When we get rolling, we'll make the Rockefellers look like pikers.
Assault at 8-1. I suppose I could scrape up $5,000. In 10 years, that'll make a lot of money. Any other little thing you have in mind, Alan?
By 1952, we start building a political organization here in Pennsylvania. In 1960, I think we can elect you president.
Oh, of course. President? Isn't that going a little too far?
Why not? Who wouldn't vote for a politician who was always right? Besides, that's one thing we've got to change. In 1960, we had a man in the White House who was good to his wife and sang a nice tenor. And that's about all. He fouled up so completely we ended up at war. I think President Hartley might be a little more trusted to take a strong line.
But I don't know anything about international decisions.
I do. I know all the wrong ones. If we can stop a murder, with time we can stop a war.
How do I start?
Well, as I remember, just after that bomb announcement, you got a phone call from the City Fusion Party about the next election.
Well, there is a lot of talk about a reform ticket.
That call is going to be important, Dad. It's the turning point. You've got... There it is.
Well, what do I do?
Answer it. Go ahead.
But, Alan,
Don't worry. I'll tell you what to say. Go ahead.
Hello? Yes, this is Blake Hartley. Judge Crimmins? Well, just a moment. Alan. He's asking me to run.
Oh, my head.
Alan, what's the matter? Alan.
Oh.
He passed out. Alan, what do I do now? Alan, listen to me. Alan, what's the matter? Alan!
Captain Hartley.
He was all right, Doctor. I gave him a shot and he was all right.
He's dead. All right, Sergeant, make up the tag.
Yes, sir.
Hartley, Allen, Captain. Dead August 8, 1975.
Alan, what happened? Alan!
Huh?
Alan, are you all right?
Hi, Dad.
I've got Judge Crimmins on the phone. What do I tell him?
What?
Alan, are you all right? You passed out.
Sure, I'm all right. Hey, today's my birthday, isn't it? What did you get me, Dad? What did you get me?
Alan, are you all right?
Sure, I'm okay. What did you get for my birthday, huh?
Don't you remember the Third World War?
What Third World War? Gee, Dad, what's the matter? You're looking at me funny.
Judge Crimmins, I'll have to call you back. Goodbye. You don't remember. You're back again, aren't you? Back to 13 years old.
Sure, I'm 13 today. For corn's sakes, Dad.
You must have died up there. It was only a mind transfer. That means now I'm on my own. I have to do it myself without your help.
Help for what? Oh, if it's the grass, I said I'd cut it tomorrow.
No, it isn't the grass. I've got to save your life, Alan. I can't let you die that way in 1975.
What are you talking about, Dad? You sound goofy.
I've got to change it all by myself.
Change what?
Never mind, Alan. You don't know yet. Come on, let's have lunch.
Sure, Dad. Hey, how about my present now? What did you get me for my birthday?
Hey, in a minute, son. Go on in.
Hurry up, Dad.
All right. Now, where'd I put that list of horses?
You have just heard another adventure into the unknown world of the future. The world of...
Dimension.
Homecoming is a joyous word. But when the home you're returning to is a burned-out radioactive planet, and when you cannot even imagine what terrible changes you will find there, the word then takes on a very different meaning. Next week, Dimension X brings you a strange story called Dwellers in Silence.
Dimension X is brought to you each week by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of the magazine Astounding Science Fiction. Today, Dimension X has presented Time and Time Again, written for radio by Ernest Kenoy, and a story by H. Beam Piper. Featured in the cast were David Anderson as Alan and Joseph Curtin as his dad. Your host was Norman Rose. Music by Albert Berman. Dimension X is produced by William Welsh and directed by Fred Way.
Adventures in time and space, told in future tense.
Dimension X.
The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, bring you Dimension X. 20 years had passed since the last of the giant migration ships had crashed to the surface of Mars, bearing its pitiful handful of survivors of the Earth Wars. 20 years of scratching at the stubborn Martian soil. 20 years of trying to devise new solar engines that would use the strange fuel they found on Mars. 20 years of longing, of turning eyes toward the green Earth as it hung on the horizon like a beckoning light. And now it was done, and the first new ship, built of shining Martian chromaton, had lifted bravely toward home with 3 men locked in its metal belly. Would they return to an Earth made barren by cosmic dust, to a blackened radioactive hell? Or would they find intelligence still alive on the scourged planet? What had 20 years of death and radioactivity done to our beloved Earth?
That's it, Captain. We've intersected the course vector.
Williams.
Yes, sir.
Prepare for deceleration.
Forward piston ready, Captain.
Read us off, Evans.
We'll enter the gravitational field of the Earth in exactly 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Fire 2 and 4.
1, 0. 2 and 4.
What's our momentum, Evans?
-3.
Fire 1.
1. -4 now.
Steady as she goes. How are we?
On parabola now. If we can hold, we should breach the heaviside layer somewhere north of what used to be Murmansk.
Let's have a look at her. Visor, please.
Yes, sir. Mother Earth.
20 years. We're going home, Evans. We're going home.
Home to what, Captain? Home to a burned-out radioactive planet that is incapable of supporting human life?
Evans and I don't agree with that, Williams. We think the Earth is ready for us again. That she'll give us another chance.
I'm sorry, Captain, but I was born and brought up on Mars under the new central government. We younger men disagree with you about migrating back to Earth. For us, Mars is home.
Well, we'll see.
If there is some form of life on Earth, we'll find out soon enough.
Williams, head for New York.
It is, Captain. You can barely see the top of the Atomic Trades building in the twilight. They never finished building it.
Dark as a tomb. Slow to cruising speed.
Cruising speed. It begins to look as if Williams is right, Captain. Not a sign of life on 4 continents.
Now, we'll make a radiation check and then head back for Mars.
You agree with me, gentlemen? That for all practical purposes, the planet is dead?
It's still my Captain. What is it?
Am I going out of my mind? Look out that way to the west. Could that be?
By heaven, it is. Those are lights. Turn the ship.
Heading west-southwest.
Full speed.
Full speed. They are lights. Captain, it's a city, a whole blasted city lit up like a Christmas tree. Well, what do you think of your dead planet now, Williams? We shall see, Evans. Remember, the Commission wants evidence of life as we know it.
Decelerate to -5. We're going to take her down. There's an open area just on the edge of the city.
Yes, sir.
Hold on, gentlemen. We're about to land.
Landing jacks are down, sir.
Open the airlock. Close. All right, gentlemen. Before we go out, security at all times. Williams, you have the blast gun?
I have it.
If anyone becomes separated, fire a shot and make for the ship. How's the radiation, Evans?
Safe enough so far. This seems to be a light area.
Very well. Open the lock.
Unbelievable. We've been walking for hours now, and not a soul to be seen.
There must be someone. How do you explain the lights?
I don't know.
Municipal building. Shall we have a look here, sir? Possibly the records might contain some clue.
Good idea. Keep your weapons ready. This door is in good working order. Almost as if it had been oiled recently. Long corridor. Lights blazing in every office. William, stand to watch here in the corridor. Fire or blast if you need us.
Yes, sir.
Evans, you come with me. We'll start right here with the city clerk's office. Better check radiation again.
Not enough to do any damage.
Gives me the creeps, doesn't it? Look at this desk. Papers crumpled, ink stained. Just as if somebody came in and worked here every day. Calendar. June 18th, 1987.
Why, that's the day of the evacuation. The dust cloud had already blanketed New York and was heading west.
Dog licenses, hunting permits.
Somehow I have a peculiar feeling that... Good Lord.
Pick it up, Evans.
Hello? No answer. Hello? I hear something. A scratching sort of noise.
Good day, Doctor.
What?
How are you? I called to ask some advice about a trepanning problem. Can you tell me if the lateral cut should be made first?
Hello? Hello? This is absolutely insane.
Thank you,
Hello?
Doctor. I'll do that. By the way, how is your wife, Alice? And the girls? And your son, John? Fine boy, John. I'll call again tomorrow. Goodbye, Doctor.
Hello? Hello? It's gone dead.
Who was it?
I don't know. A strange voice carried on a conversation about some surgical operation without paying the slightest attention to anything I said. Captain, the lights are out.
Good Lord.
Captain! Captain!
I have a torch. Come on. Williams, what is it?
I don't know.
You fired a shot.
Yes, sir. Just as the lights went out, I'm sure I saw a figure. It looked like an old man in a white robe. It moved across the end of the corridor down that way.
Flash your torch down there, Evans. Nothing there. Are you certain, Williams?
I'm not certain. The lights, they're on again.
We're going to get to the bottom of this.
Wait.
What?
Listen. Quietly. Someone is coming, walking slowly toward the corridor.
Coming closer. Cover him when he turns the corner.
It'll be a pleasure.
Don't fire unless I give the word. Shh.
What? Jumping Jupiter.
Are you... Is it really someone, or am I having hallucinations?
We are no vision.
No. No, you seem to be real. I saw the ship come down. I thought perhaps I was losing my mind. It's been so many years.
I'm Captain John Parsons. These are my assistants, Dr. Evans and Mr. Williams. We've returned to Earth from Mars.
Oh, then it's happened. We're not alone anymore. Forgive me, gentlemen. I seem moved. I waited and hoped for so long.
You survived the radiation?
We did.
There are others?
My family were the only ones.
I answered the phone a moment ago. Who was it?
You heard my voice, Doctor.
Your voice?
To break the loneliness, I've recorded my voice and rigged up an automatic telephone. It's pleasant to hear the phone ring. I come here to do my work.
I take it you're a medical man.
My name's Cornelius Hathaway.
Hathaway? Hathaway, the brain surgeon?
You know my name.
Who doesn't? I watched you on television at college. I saw you 23 years ago. You performed a difficult surgery for a cerebral tumor. Marvelous.
Thank you. I'd almost forgotten. My mind, you see, I'm almost 80 now.
You look fine, sir.
Well, we've had the best of everything. An entire city to choose from. Cold storage, the best equipment. But come, when I saw your ship, I told Alice, my wife, you know, to prepare a feast. This is a great day for me, gentlemen. A great, great day. is my wife, gentlemen. Alice, this is Captain Parsons, Dr. Evans, and Mr. Williams.
How do you do, Mrs. Hathaway?
Now, if you'll follow me, gentlemen, we'll meet my children.
Lord, what a beautiful woman.
She looks no more than 35.
These are my daughters, Susan and Marguerite. This is my son, John.
Nice to meet you.
Sit down, gentlemen, sit down. We'll have a feast in honor of this occasion. Susan, Marguerite, get the best silverware and the damask napkins. John, fetch the glasses.
Oh, yes, Father. It'll only take...
Excuse me, John.
Sir?
How old are you?
23, sir.
Thank you.
Now, if you'll excuse me. What is it, Captain? Something wrong?
Nothing except that it's impossible. You see, Dr. Hathaway's son was already in college when I started. That will make him at least 45. That was a wonderful meal, Mrs. Hathaway. Doctor, your wife is an exceptional woman.
Thank you, sir.
How would you gentlemen like some fresh gingerbread with your coffee? I baked it this morning.
Oh, wonderful. Smell that, Evans?
Oh, it's like coming home, Mrs. Hathaway.
We enjoy having you here.
Mrs. Hathaway, may I compliment you on your having preserved your youth and beauty so well?
Thank you. We have had no worries here, no competition. Only the things we need for material comfort.
Parsons and I were wondering, Dr. Hathaway, if the radioactivity had any effect in preserving tissue. Your children all look so young, too.
It is possible, gentlemen, of course. Radiation does strange things to living tissue. Alice, could we have some champagne?
Of course. I'll only be a moment.
An amazing woman. Did you ever see such grace? Such complete relaxation.
It doesn't seem quite natural.
I beg your pardon, gentlemen?
Captain Parsons was just about to ask how you and your family managed to escape, Dr. Hathaway.
We were very fortunate. I was working in the Sierra Mountains at the time. I had a lead-lined laboratory where I did X-ray research on my pet project.
And what is that, sir?
The study of machines as they relate to human function and the corollary of... Well, to continue, when the dust cloud covered America, we remained in the laboratory, well supplied with food and water. Later, when the radiation permitted, we made our way east, back to our old home, in the hopes of finding other survivors. But by that time, every living creature had been evacuated to Mars. We were stranded. The migration ships didn't wait for stragglers.
That's true. My father and I were on the last rocket out of New York.
I've always loved this old house. But the loneliness of those first years...
At least you had your wife and children.
Yes. Yes, I had my family. If it were not for them, gentlemen, I assure you I would long ago have put a bullet in my head.
Here we are. Champagne, Captain?
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Hathaway. May I propose a toast?
Oh, let me. Gentlemen, to Earth.
To Earth.
Earth. May she never be a stranger to man again.
Hathaway, what is it?
Nothing really. It's just a rather sharp pain in the chest.
I think you should lie down, Doctor.
No.
Yes.
Perhaps you're right.
Let me help you.
No. John and Susan will help.
Of course, Father.
Why don't you gentlemen go out on the porch, enjoy the air? I'll see you all in the morning.
Good night, Doctor.
Good night. Come, John.
Yes, Father.
Well, what do you think of old Mother Earth now, Williams? Smell that summer breeze. Look at that view of the city lighted up against the sky.
It has a certain quality.
Well, score 1 point for the back-to-earth proponents.
I didn't say that.
You're beginning to feel it, though, Williams. I can tell.
If you don't mind, gentlemen, I'm quite tired. I think I'll turn in. Excuse me.
Well, Captain?
Well, what?
What do you make of all this?
I don't know what you mean.
This Hathaway and his family. There's something strange and unnatural going on here. I can sense it.
I think you're reading things into it, Evans.
Oh, perhaps. Well, I'll turn in too. Are you coming?
In a moment. I
Want to smoke a cigarette?
Beautiful view.
What?
Is it not?
I didn't hear you come out. How is he?
Resting. I've never seen him this bad.
Yes, he's an old man. I'm sorry, but the difference in your ages is so apparent. You must have been married very young.
My husband is a very great man, Captain. It's too bad there was no one to appreciate him. Once he wired the whole city with sound speakers, and when he pressed a button, the whole town lit up and made noises, as if 10,000 people were living in it.
He must have been very lonesome for people. Although with a woman such as you, I don't understand.
Perhaps one day you will understand. Good night, Captain.
Good night, Mrs. Hathaway.
Captain Parsons.
Who's there?
It's Dr. Evans.
What time is it?
2 a.m.
What's wrong?
I couldn't sleep. A few minutes ago, I heard someone slip out the front door. The moonlight, I saw it was the old man. He was headed toward our ship.
What are you suggesting, Evans?
Nothing, except that it's fairly unnatural for an old man with a bad heart to go wandering off at 2 in the morning.
Very well. We'll follow him. See him yet?
No.
Look, ahead there on the hillside. Isn't that Hathaway kneeling in the moonlight?
Yes, I think so. Can we get closer?
Let's head for that clump of bushes. This is far enough.
What do you suppose he's doing there? What are those things on the ground?
Good Lord. Those are grave markers. 4 of them.
You're right. Seems to be praying over them.
Listen.
Do you forgive me for what I've done? I had to do it. I was so terribly lonely. You do forgive me, don't you? Yes, I feel you do. I'm glad. I think perhaps I can rest now. I think
He's having another attack. Come on. Hathaway! Dr. Hathaway. Raise his head, Evans.
His lips are moving.
What is it, Doctor?
Lean closer. I'm sorry I had to spoil all of this. I've expected it for some time.
We'll fix you up.
No, this is the end for me. It really doesn't matter. Except for them.
What about them, Hathaway?
You suspected, didn't you?
Yes, I suspected, but I couldn't believe it until now. Do they know?
No, they wouldn't understand. I wouldn't want them to know, ever. The Earth...
Don't try to talk.
The Earth is so fair.
Doctor.
He's dead, Captain. He knew it was the end this time.
Yes, he knew.
What was it he meant about your suspecting?
Light a match, Evans. Look on those 4 grave markers and tell me what you see.
Good Lord.
Well?
Alice Hathaway, Marguerite Hathaway, Susan Hathaway, John Hathaway. Died July 1987. But that's 20 years ago. If these markers are correct, then who are those others?
Can't you guess, Evans? Can't you guess? Mrs. Hathaway, are you awake?
Yes, Captain?
May I come in?
Yes. It's about my husband, isn't it?
You knew.
I saw him go out tonight. He felt it was near the end.
He died less than an hour ago. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
He told us it would happen one day, and that he didn't want us to cry. He didn't teach us how, you know. He said it was the worst thing that could happen, to know how to be lonely and unhappy. What will happen to us now that he's gone?
I don't know.
Will you stay with us?
I would like to, but I cannot.
You know about us.
Yes, I know. I didn't think that you knew yourself.
The children don't. I've been aware for a long while.
No one would have guessed. You're so perfect.
Oh, he would have liked to hear you say that. He was so very proud of us. After a while, he came to love us, and at the end, he took us as his real wife and children. He even forgot sometimes that he had made us.
You gave him a great deal of comfort.
Yes. Over the years, we sat and talked. He loved so much to talk. I was first, you know. Then he became lonesome for the children, and so he made them. He told me about the things he did, about his laboratory.
Well, surely the children must suspect.
Oh, no. You see, there were no other beings with which to compare themselves.
He must have been a great, great genius.
Each morning he took a recording of his voice into town and put it on the automatic telephone. Each night it would call us. I think, what with the phone ringing and the sound of voices and the lights on, he was happy. There was only one thing, one flaw.
And that?
He couldn't make us grow old. And so he had to watch himself become an old, old man while we stayed young. It was a great blow to him.
And so we commend the body of this man, Cornelius Hathaway, to his Maker. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust returneth. Amen.
Come, John.
Yes, Mother.
Susan? Marguerite?
Evans, Williams, stay here a moment, please.
What is it?
Let them go back to the house. I want to speak to you.
I know what you're going to tell us, Captain. I saw the names on the grave markers.
Well?
It's a mockery. A blasphemy of everything we believe in. For a man to do something so evil.
Can't you imagine what he faced? Can't you imagine what it must have been like to have watched his wife and children die slowly of radiation burns? To know that he was the last man on the face of the earth? Alone? Eternally and unalterably alone? Good Lord, man, what would you have done if you'd had his medical and technical genius?
That's incredible.
Yes, it is. But with an entire American city on which to draw for supplies and equipment, a brilliant man might accomplish anything, even that.
What are you suggesting, Captain? That we take them back?
We haven't enough space in the ship for that. Every ounce counts. Still, to leave them here, like that, alone...
I think I have an answer, cold-blooded as it may seem.
Go on.
I suggest that we turn them off.
Do you think that I could do that?
No, but I could. After all, they aren't human. They're worse than robots. They're ghoulish.
Have you talked to her? Has she smiled at you with that quiet, beautiful smile?
Captain, we can't take them with us, and it would be less than human to leave them here without Hathaway.
Could you do it, Evans?
Give me the blast gun, Williams.
We'll wait in the ship. Take off in half an hour.
Half an hour.
6:25. He should be back soon.
Yes.
He's doing the only humane thing, Captain. They are less than human.
Are they?
Well, it's done now, and no one will ever... That's the airlock. He's back.
Here's your gun.
Did you do it?
When I entered the house, she looked at me with those fine, intelligent eyes. I couldn't do it. It would be murder, cold-blooded murder.
I prayed you wouldn't be able to do it. There will never be anything as fine as they are. Built to last 200, 300, perhaps 1,000 years. Well, get the course in the integrator, Williams. We'll take off in 20 minutes. I should be back by then.
You're going out, sir?
I'm going to say goodbye.
You've come back.
Only to say goodbye.
It was nice of you.
I wanted you to know that I am coming back someday.
When will you come?
I don't know. It will take many years to prepare fuel for another trip. 6, 7, perhaps 10 years.
I will watch the sky at night, just as he watched it.
Oh, I'm afraid I must go now.
I understand. Strange. I have a new feeling. One which he did not teach us. A feeling of longing, of sadness.
That one is not taught. It comes of being alive.
Yes. I am alive. Even though he created me, I'm a person now.
Goodbye, Alice Hathaway.
Goodbye, John Parsons.
You have just heard another adventure into the unknown world of the future. The world of...
Dimension X.
When the time comes for men to explore the universe, to deal with the strange inhabitants of other worlds, there will be much to remember. Perhaps the most important lesson of all will seem too fundamental to be included in the training manuals. Listen at this time next week as Dimension X brings you a story from the pages of the August astounding science fiction. A story called Courtesy.
Dimension X is presented each week by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of the magazine Astounding Science Fiction. Today, Dimension X has presented Dwellers in Silence, written for radio by George Lefferts from the story by Ray Bradbury. Featured in the cast were Peter Capell as Captain Parsons, Bill Griffiths as Dr. Hathaway, and Gertrude Warner as Alice. Your host was Norman Rose, music by Albert Berman. Dimension X is produced by William Welch and directed by Fred Wade.
Dragnet, the story of your police force, is next on NBC.
The magic island of Euclidia is over 4,000 miles from Los Angeles, California. Yet most of the activity of our story has been around Los Angeles for some little time. To begin with, Mrs. Gregory and her entire party were landed safely back in California, the Euclidean girl submarine commander bringing her rocket plane down on Lake Hollywood. Now, Captain Bradford and this girl have set off again in the rocket plane, trying to reach Euclidia before G-47 and the scientists can escape. Mrs. Gregory, with Jerry and Joan and her crew, are to follow immediately with a large boat chartered for the occasion. We find Mrs. Gregory with her trusted employee, Johnson, waiting impatiently at the harbor for Jerry and Joan.
Oh, how long have we been waiting now, Johnson?
Over 3 hours, Mrs. Gregory.
3 hours. And what has happened?
Well, we have no way of knowing for sure.
No way of knowing. And somewhere in that southern sky, Tex and Elaine are hurtling toward Euclidia at a speed of 1,000 miles an hour. Yet we have no way of knowing exactly what's happening to them. Jerry and Joan. Over 3 hours since they went to Lake Hollywood to help Tex and Elaine take off. Yet we have no way of knowing where they are.
Well, nevertheless, I think we're doing the only sensible thing by remaining here on your boat, in the radio cabin. We're connected to the shore telephone, and they'll get word to us the minute they can do so safely.
But what could have happened to them?
Well, nothing very serious, or we'd have heard from them.
Oh, no, Johnson. It must be something serious. That's the reason we don't hear.
But we do know they left the lake 3 hours ago. We've sent 2 people up there, and no sign of them.
Johnson, I'm not ordinarily frightened by things like this. But we've seen so much of the power of these people. The Euclidians are clever and dangerous. Oh, I think Tex and that girl can take care of themselves. But Jerry and Joan have disappeared. In Hollywood, in broad daylight. It just isn't reasonable.
Well, they're not here, and we can't do anything but lie here and wait for them.
I know. But Tex expects us to be over 3 hours on our way by this time. Do you realize that we'll be 6 days getting to Euclidia, and that Tex and Elaine will have to keep that little plane afloat over that location for 6 days, threatening the Euclidians and bluffing them into staying underwater and living on condensed food?
Yes, but all of that will be a matter of routine to both of them. The captain knows his business, and the girl strikes me as being more than usually clever.
Oh, she's remarkable. And Tex is a grand person. But neither of them can work miracles.
Well, I'm sorry, Mrs. Gregory. There's nothing more I can say.
I understand, Johnson. And I'm sorry for being such a worry to you.
I'll take it. Hello?
Hello? Who's this?
This is Johnson speaking.
Hello, Johnson. This is Jerry.
Jerry?
Jerry, Joan.
May I speak to Mrs. Gregory, please?
Sure. Hold it a minute. He wants to speak to you.
Oh, thanks, Johnson. Jerry, how are you?
Oh, I'm okay. Joan's fine, too. Although we had a little trouble getting away to come down there.
Well, where are you now?
Oh, we're in jail.
In jail?
Yes, I'm in jail. And a good, strong jail, too. But we're going to get out right away.
Well, what did you do to get yourselves in there?
Oh, just what we thought was best to do. We tried to keep the story of what was going on from getting to the papers and the radio stations, and we kept it quiet for 3 hours, but it's gone now.
Well, that may be long enough, Jerry. We have a man waiting with his set open in the radio shack. He hasn't heard anything yet, or we'd have found out about it.
Oh, okay. We just talked to the chief and got everything fixed up. We'll be there in half an hour.
Half an hour? Well, you can't make that, Jerry.
Yes, we can. The chief's going to give us a police escort. We'll be there and ready to go in half an hour.
Well, we'll be ready to cast off when you arrive. Goodbye, Jerry.
Bye.
So they're in jail.
Yes. Jerry says they got there trying to keep the news of our departure a secret.
Well, I think they were trying to cover up the captain's flight.
Oh, of course they were. Tex said that no matter what happened, we weren't to try to communicate with him or let anyone know he'd gone until they'd had 4 hours. That's put them at Euclidia.
Well, Jerry's apparently done his best, even to the point of going to jail over it.
Oh, he's a great boy, Jerry is. He's been a wonderful help to us. Now, Johnson, I think we'd better get ready to shove off. If Jerry and Joan make it here in a half
How do you like it, Joan?
Oh, I like it very much. I have never ridden like this before.
These police cars are sure made to go when they have to.
Those men on the what do you call them?
Motorcycles?
Yes, the motorcycles. They ride fearlessly and clear the way for us.
We're sure doing it in style, all right. Well, Joan, in just a few minutes we'll be on board the boat on our way to Euclidia again.
And I hope for the last time. I want to live in your world, Jerry, with all of Mother's sensible, normal friends.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But, well, I like all this Magic Island stuff. Of course, it's exciting to me.
I beg your pardon, young lady.
Oh, yes, officer?
Sergeant, Joan, Sergeant.
I am sorry, Sergeant.
You're Mrs. Gregory's little daughter, I said.
Yes, sir.
And you lived 14 years on that thing they call the Magic Island?
That is correct.
Then, would you be so good as to give me your autograph?
My autograph?
You know, Joan, like the picture stars do. Sign your name for the sergeant.
Would you do that?
I should be glad to, but I cannot understand your request. I do not know the customs of Hollywood, but I thought only celebrated people were asked for their autograph.
You're celebrated enough in my house. Sure, I've got a small daughter of my own, only 6 years old, and I've had many an argument with her. I tell her the old Irish bedtime stories about the banshees. They're the little people who come out at night, you know.
No, I did not know.
Well, they do. Many's the time I've heard the banshees wailing and seen the fairies dancing over the bog in County Down. But will my little girl believe that? She will not. Says she, there's no such thing as fairies.
Well, I agree with her.
Shame on you, Jerry Hall. And with a name like yours, too. And this beautiful girl sitting right beside you.
I will sign my name for you, Officer Sergeant. But what has that to do with your little girl?
Sure, and if I show her your name, written in my traffic book, she'll believe me. She knows all about the Magic Island. And when she says that I've really had you riding in my car, I'll have less trouble with my bedtime stories hereafter.
I guess you might at that. Okay, Joan, sign your name to the Sarge.
It will be a pleasure. Only think of it, Jerry. I have been asked for my autograph.
Yeah, I know. And when we get home, I suppose you want to go to work in the pictures.
I should not mind.
Well, there's no time for that now. We're pretty near the harbor, and we'll be plenty busy explaining to your mother after we do get there.
I've made the rounds for the third time, Mrs. Gregory. Everything's shipshape, and a couple of the men are holding us fast with hand-snubbed lines.
Well, they should be here any minute now. Oh, Skipper.
Aye.
Will you start the motors and stand by to shove off the instant Jerry and Joan are aboard?
Aye.
Nearly 4 hours since the captain took off.
Well, I think we may expect to hear from him almost immediately after he lands at Euclidia.
Listen.
Yes, they're coming. Jerry said they had a police escort.
And I'll bet Jerry's making the most of that.
To say nothing of the thrill it is for Joan.
Well, McLeod's on his toes. He's starting the motors.
I wish we could hear from Tex.
Well, he hasn't been gone quite 4 hours, and they wouldn't have much chance of making it in less than that.
Johnson, listen.
They're on the pier now. It'll only be a minute.
Oh, Skipper.
Aye.
They're coming.
Aye.
Ready to shove off?
Aye.
Will you please go in the radio shack and wait, Johnson? I know you won't miss anything. I'll meet them and order our sailing.
Very well, Mrs. Gregory. I'll watch the radio.
Good night, and good luck to the two of you.
Hurry, Joan.
We're coming, Mother.
Hi, Skipper. Shove off. We're here.
Not so fast, Jerry.
Oh, well, give me your hand, Joan. Come on. Over you go.
Oh, thank you.
Hurry into my cabin, you two. Cast off, Skipper.
Aye.
And full speed ahead at every possible moment.
Aye.
We are sorry to be so late, Mother.
Oh, I'm sure you couldn't avoid it.
We sure couldn't. You see, Mrs. Gregory...
One moment, Jerry. Wait until we get in the cabin.
Gee, Mrs. Gregory, somebody on board you can't trust?
No, Jerry. Just that I want to talk in here where Johnson can reach me immediately if he picks up anything on the radio.
No news of the captain as yet.
No, but we're expecting it any time.
Golly, we sure got underway quick.
Yes, Jerry, we've been waiting for you over 3 hours, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, Mrs. Gregory, but we had a good reason. You see, a reporter and a cameraman followed us to Lake Hollywood and saw the captain and Elain take off in the Euclidean rocket plane.
Oh, Jerry, they didn't know what Texas' destination was.
They seem to have a very good idea.
But how, Joan?
Well, golly whiskers, Mrs. Gregory. Everybody in the country knows about our trip down to Magic Island, and I'll bet plenty of people managed to find out we got back all right.
But they couldn't possibly have known about Texas formula or what he plans to do at the underwater city.
No, Mother. They do not even suspect the existence of Euclidia. But they do know a great deal about the Magic Island.
Well, what happened?
Well, they came dashing up just as the rocket plane took off. But they were too late to get a good picture of it.
But they took our pictures, Mother.
Well, that couldn't do any harm. But how did you get in jail?
Well, we figured that Tex didn't want any stories about this flight of his to get out until he was at Euclidia.
Knowing that Elain and the captain were afraid G-47 would be inspired to make a desperate attempt to escape if he realized capture was so near.
That's right. But you couldn't stop the story.
Oh, we did for a while. Well, I took a shortcut over the hills and headed them off on a one-way road and swung your car around so it blocked the road and couldn't be moved. Then we had plenty of luck when the road behind them filled up with cars before they could get out.
And then the officers came, and Jerry talked very fast, even faster than usual. And the officer agreed to take the 2 newspapermen to jail with us.
Oh, very nice, Jerry. And did they take them?
Oh, boy, they sure did. I told the cop who arrested us just enough about you and the captain that he knew I had something serious to tell. And he agreed to hold those fellows and not let them get the story out until I had a chance to explain it at headquarters.
But how did you get the chief's attention at this time of day?
Well, I just kept asking for him and saying you told me to talk to him. And pretty soon he came down to the jail. Well, after I told him the whole story, he held us all 3 hours, and then let the reporters out at the same time he sent us down here.
We tried to get away earlier to join you, but the chief said he really had no reason to hold those men, unless he held us also. And Jerry and I agreed that those 3 hours meant more to Captain Bradford and Elaine than they would to this boat.
And you thought exactly right. Tex should have time enough to land at Euclidia and take control before that news can possibly reach G47.
Well, that's what we figured.
Well, children, we're off on another mad race to the South Sea.
I hope this is the last one.
Don't worry, it will be. And when you get back, you can walk up and down Hollywood Boulevard all day handing out your autograph.
Why, Jerry, what does that remark mean?
I am a celebrity, Mother. I have given my autograph to a sergeant of police.
Oh, Jonesy. I know you don't realize it, but you're a born diplomat. As long as you have the officers asking for your autograph, you'll do very well in our world.
Captain Tex Bradford and Elaine Raleigh, the Euclidean girl submarine commander who has joined the Gregory party, have been flying 4 hours in the stolen Euclidean rocket plane, trying to reach the location of Euclidia before their fuel gives out. Just outside Los Angeles Harbor, a small passenger vessel chartered by Mrs. Gregory has put to sea, heading for the same location, but expecting to require between 5 and 6 days to reach the captain and Elaine. On board with Mrs. Gregory are Joan, Jerry, and their faithful friends of previous cruises. Our story today leaves them 4,000 miles behind, however, and we join Elaine and Captain Tex Bradford in the Euclidean rocket plane.
How's the fuel holding out, Elaine?
It is nearly exhausted, Captain Bradford.
Think we can make it?
I am checking our position.
No, we've got 25,000 feet of altitude to help us.
I believe we will need it. It is foolish to waste our last bit of fuel if we may glide down and save it.
Well, why save it?
We may need it later.
There won't be enough left to take us anywhere.
No, but there may be sufficient to keep us from drifting anywhere.
Yeah, sure. I guess I'm getting old.
No one person can think of everything.
You seem to do a pretty good job of it.
Thank you.
Found out where we are?
We are within gliding distance of Euclidia.
Okay, cut your power and let's go down.
I am doing so.
I just had another pleasant thought to add to our troubles.
If it concerns something we can do nothing about, it is not wise to worry about it.
Well, we can't do anything about this, but I can't help worrying about it either.
What is it?
We're not going to have fuel enough left to take us very far from where we land, is that right?
Correct.
And what happens to us if we find that G47 and his Euclideans are swarming all over the water waiting for us?
That is indeed an unpleasant thought. However, you must have thought of that before this.
Yes, I have, but it looks a little different when you're looking at it from back home and when you're drifting down into it.
I hope we will find the submarine locks of Euclidia helpless as we left them.
If you were right about how long they'd stay bottled up in there, we're okay.
It will be only a short time until we know.
How fast are we falling?
5,000 feet a minute.
Gee, that's falling pretty fast. Can we check it when we get ready?
I have tested my helium tanks. We have sufficient gas to inflate the shell and land gently.
How will we be able to tell what the Euclideans are doing?
The instant we land, I will be able to give you a full report on that.
Well, how, if you don't mind telling me?
I have directional radio beam receivers in this plane. They will register the slightest metallic disturbance. If we encounter none within a reasonable distance of the underwater city, we may be sure the Euclideans are not operating outside the confines of the city.
You seem to have covered everything. How's the altitude?
18,000 feet.
Lost 7,000 feet already.
Precisely.
How about radioing to Mrs. Gregory's boat and finding out what they're doing?
I would not recommend that as yet.
I suppose it would be better to wait until we're sure about those Euclideans.
That is my opinion. G47 and his scientists would make a desperate attempt to escape with at least a chosen few of the Euclideans.
Yeah, and he might succeed.
He would succeed very easily if he wanted to take only his chief scientists.
They'd use the same surface lock we escaped from, I suppose.
Exactly.
But they wouldn't take any boat, no way of getting away from that position.
Not for any great distance, to be sure. But they have life rafts which could be inflated and float them for some time.
I'd hate to be playing around among the sharks in a rubber lifeboat for very long.
Those boats are not rubber. They are made of very thin copper. They do not tear easily, and the Euclideans' ray guns would discourage the sharks for some time.
Nice party we're getting into.
It does present difficulties. However, I believe we will overcome them.
That right? 11,000 feet?
Yes.
Falling more than 5,000 a minute, then.
I think not.
Have you anything strong enough to study that water through at this altitude?
Naturally. That slender copper tube set into the panel before you. Pull the tube downward.
Like this? Ouch!
Yes, Captain. That is correct.
Maybe, but I don't like my telescopes hitting me in the head.
Its length is greater than you would expect. You may now look downward through it.
Don't you have to aim it at anything?
That is a reflecting telescope with a lens perfected on Euclidia. You will be able to sweep a mile section of ocean surface clearly from this altitude.
Which is,
8,000 feet.
Anything I can do about the particular part of the ocean I might want to look at?
Not with that instrument. It is, however, perhaps the most effective thing you could use at this time. The focal center of that telescope is synchronized automatically with the center of our landing area. And if we change course or angle of descent, your scope will change with us.
Good enough for me. Our landing area is exactly what I want to be looking at.
The graduated scale on the shaft may aid you in focusing.
Yes, I'm trying it, but there doesn't seem to be... Yes. Hold everything, Elaine.
What do you see?
Take a look. You know more about what to expect than I do. I suggest you don't go down any lower until you do take a look.
I'm stabilizing at this altitude. We are now 5,000 feet.
Well, hurry up and look.
I am. And I see what you saw. That, Captain Bradford, is a Euclidean life raft with several persons aboard.
Which does what to us?
That remains to be seen.
Would they have a radio on that thing?
Undoubtedly.
Then if we radio Mrs. Gregory's boat, they'll hear it down there?
Probably.
Just the same, I've got an idea, and I'm going to try it out.
You are in command, Captain.
Have those Euclideans any way of knowing that we're almost out of fuel?
No. If we had not carried an excess load to Los Angeles and flown at excess speed coming back, we should have fuel for several hundred miles.
Good. Now I'm going to try something. And no matter how crazy it sounds, don't interrupt until I'm through.
Proceed, Captain. The transmitter is ready for you.
Bradford to Gregory boat. Bradford to Gregory boat. QRS. If you are getting me, make it snappy. We haven't any time to waste. This is emergent.
Hall is answering.
Can you hear me clearly, Jerry?
Swell. Go ahead.
We are over Euclidia. From the looks of things on the water, some of them are trying to escape. We are going down and drop some of my solvent on their raft. Naturally, they can't hold out long. If they came out of where we think they did, they'll have to jump for their lives and dive down into that airlock again. Have you got that much of it?
Got it all. What do we do?
Just keep coming as fast as you can. We'll set down over that lock and anchor the solvent around Euclidia where it will do the most good. I just want you to know our plans so you'll understand that we'll be on the water and saving our radio power if you don't hear for some time.
Okay. I'll tell Mrs. Gregory. Everything's fine here, and we're getting 21 knots out of this old tub.
Good work, kid. Now keep your chin up. We'll be seeing you. That's all. Got the transmitter.
I have done so.
Well, how about it?
It was an excellent idea, Captain. Now we shall see if the Euclideans are taking it seriously.
Well, if they didn't hear it, we'll have to do it all over again.
Would Jerry understand?
You bet he would. That boy doesn't ask any questions till he knows the meeting's open.
There is some activity in the life raft below.
Are they getting ready to leave it?
I cannot be sure, but it looks as if they are indeed putting on their helmets.
And we'd better get down there to make this attack of ours look as real as we can.
Agreed. We descend.
How quick can we get down there?
Allowing for time to circle as we descend, keeping that point under the axis of our circle, we should land in 120 seconds.
And can they all get back into that lock in 2 minutes?
Hardly. Not and deflate the raft.
Good. That's what I want, that raft. See just how fast you can get down to them. If they abandon that raft, we may find supplies on that will do us a lot of good during the next 6 days.
Correct, Captain. We will descend as rapidly as possible.
And if our bluff doesn't work, if G47 has nerve to stay on top of the water and see this thing through, well, we haven't a chance in the world of beating him.
I believe we have. This plane will afford us much more protection than an open raft, and we can easily extinguish their lives with our heavy ray guns.
Oh, none of that, Elaine. You don't seem to get the idea that in our world we don't go around killing people. Either we'll take these Euclideans prisoners one of these days, or they'll take us again.
Yours is a strange world, Captain, but I realize that you are right.
However, it's mighty poor satisfaction to be right if you lose out.
I think you will not lose, Captain Bradford.
What do you see now?
You watch through the scope. I will maneuver for a landing.
Yep. They're leaving the raft. And they're getting off fast. Say, they won't have time to take it with them.
That is well.
Drop down there just as fast as you can. We'll grab it.
I would suggest not rushing into a landing in that exact spot, Captain Bradford.
But I'd like to get the provisions off the raft.
Precisely. And G47 knows that beyond a doubt. Or at least suspects that you want the raft.
But we're running out of fuel.
We have run out.
All gone?
There is no more fuel.
And we'll have to land right on that spot if we're going to make sure they stay down under.
I will have enough compressed helium to use for surface maneuvers for several days, I believe, and I advise against landing near that raft.
But why? They can't hurt us. Now, look, the last man is going over the side of that raft now. They can't have anything on but those temporary diving helmets, and they haven't any choice but to get back into that lock.
Nevertheless, with your permission, I will land at least 100 yards from that raft.
Well, I can't see any reason for it, but I know you must have one.
I have. And in a very few seconds, I will show you an active demonstration of my reason.
Well, what are you going to do?
I am gliding toward that raft, exactly as if I expected to land there. But at the last second, I will elevate the nose of this plane and attempt to glide beyond the raft, passing over it at an elevation of about 50 feet.
And then?
I am not sure, but I would suggest that you brace yourself firmly in that seat.
I begin to get the idea. They're not going to leave that raft helpless for us to pick up so easily.
That is my thought. Brace yourself tightly. I will now glide above the raft, and we will see what G47 has left for us. What do you think now, Captain?
I think that's about as close to getting blown to bits as I ever want to come.
It was indeed too near for comfort. I will now land as gently as possible, though you might preserve your position of self-protection, as I do not want to waste our helium in landing perfectly.
Well, save the gas. Go ahead and smack the water as hard as this ship will stand. After the tossing around that explosion gave us, I can stand anything.
Brace yourself. We will now land.
Okay.
We are now stabilized on the surface of the water.
How far from that airlock?
Approximately 200 yards from the spot at which the raft was blown up.
Good. Now, I suggest you use a little of the gas to get back directly over that airlock. Then we'll take steps to bottle the Euclidians up good and tight.
Very well.
Have you any of those magnetic bombs?
Several.
All right. Use a couple of them to hold that airlock shut, and we'll save my solvent until we actually have to use it.
Agreed. I will release a bomb when we are over the lock. One such charge will paralyze the lock for 2 hours.
Good. And after I'm sure those fellas can't get at me, I'll dive down there and fix some of the solvent to the lock gate. Then we'll be safe indefinitely.
Excellent. Well, Captain Bradford, it looks as if you are in command of the city of Euclidia at last. We are directly over the lock. The city is powerless.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today, Clark Kent and his friends at the Daily Planet are dumbfounded, for the important Higgins letters, placed so carefully in their files, have suddenly and mysteriously vanished.
Hello there, gang. This is your pal Dan McCullough. Say, talk about getting around. You can't beat Kellogg's Pep. Why, just Pep with milk and sugar starts off thousands of breakfasts every morning. And this week's Pep Dish of the Week is catching on, too. It's Date Bait, a mighty smooth combination. How about trying it tomorrow morning? All you do is to put a layer of Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine cereal, in the bottom of your bowl. Scatter the top with a few pieces of dates, cut into fairly small pieces. Then another layer of Pep, more dates, and on up until you're ready to add milk and pitch in. How those tender flakes of Kellogg's Pep do liven up this breakfast dish. That keen sunshine flavor sure does rise and shine. Makes you want to concentrate on all that good eating until you've finished off every bit. And that's the way it should be, because it's not a good idea to waste cereal. particularly nowadays when we're sending the cereal grains to fellows and girls around the world. So, gang, when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, make sure there's no waste at your house. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully and polish off every bit you pour out. Pass the word along to the rest of your family, too. Always make sure to eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
Now the adventures of Superman. In possession of letters proving that Martin Higgins, candidate for mayor of Metropolis, is associated with gangsters and racketeers, Clark Kent wrote the opening blast in the Daily Planet's campaign against the evil influences represented by Higgins. But the paper was not long on the street before the editor, publisher, and 2 star reporters of the Planet were made co-defendants in a lawsuit for $1 million brought against them by Higgins, who accused them of false and malicious slander. Secure in the belief that the letters in their possession would bear out their accusations and invalidate Higgins' suit, Perry White, Clark Kent, and Lois Lane were contemptuous of what they called an empty bluff. Just to satisfy themselves, they went to the clippings morgue, where Jim Olsen had hidden them, to have a look at the Higgins letters. And to their consternation and dismay, found them missing. As we continue today, we find Kent, Lois, and Jim in the editor's office after a thorough search of the premises had revealed no trace of the vital correspondence. White, his face drawn and haggard, is beside himself with anxiety. Listen.
Oh, I'm afraid we're late. Finished. Done. Now, look, Chief. Oh, let's face it, Kent. Without those letters to back up what we said about Higgins in today's paper, we lose our fight against his election. And he's a cinch to win his slander suit against us. Paying out $1 million will just about ruin the Planet. And me, too.
Oh, gee whiz. Do you think a burglar hired by Higgins could have slipped in here and stolen the letters?
Oh, gosh, Miss Lane, how could anyone burgle a newspaper office in bright daylight?
Jim's right. This was obviously an inside job done by a Planet employee who slipped into the chief's office when he was out, took the key, stole the letters, and then put the key back in the desk drawer again so we wouldn't discover they were missing until we went to look for them.
Very neat theory, Hawkshaw, but as full of holes as a sieve.
For instance?
Well, to begin with, I've hardly been out of my office all day. Even had my lunch brought in.
Correction, please. You were out over half an hour this morning when you went downstairs for breakfast.
And you went to the art department with me to check on the How to Fight Juvenile Delinquency page. You remember?
Yes, I remember. But if anyone had gone into my office when I was out, Miss Backrack would have seen him. And she says
she didn't notice anyone go in. But then she never pays any attention to the copy boys when they run in and out of your office.
Well, that's true.
Or any familiar staff members, for that matter.
Okay. Granted, that is true. There's still one big hole in your theory, Kent.
Like what?
Well, only a few of us knew where I told Jim to hide the letters. Do you think Lois or Jim or I took them out of the file cabinet?
Well, certainly not.
All right, then. Since we don't suspect ourselves, your whole theory is cockeyed.
Not a bit. I still insist it was an inside job, and there's only one other person who was definitely on the spot whom we haven't yet discussed.
Well, who's that?
The new office girl, Mary Hennig.
Now, see here, Clark.
Hey, that's right. She was standing with us, Chief.
Now that you mention it, I do remember being surprised to find that she was sticking around.
Clark Kent, how could you be so despicable as to accuse a sweet, innocent girl like Mary of being a thief?
Now, wait a minute, Lois. Wait a minute. I haven't accused her yet. I simply included her as a suspect.
Well, how could you even do that?
Because 2 very strange things have happened in this office within the past 24 hours. First, Al Vincent is tipped off that his place is to be raided. Then, by a strange coincidence, some letters which affect Vincent's partner in crime mysteriously disappear.
Hey, that does seem strange. Especially since that Hennig girl was here with us when we discussed both those deals.
Well, but so what, Chief? Clark himself admitted that it was a coincidence, and I don't think it's fair to suspect her any more than any one of us.
Now, just a minute, Lois. This thing is too serious to overlook any possibilities. I think Henderson or one of his detectives should investigate Mary.
Yeah, so do I.
Oh, no, Jim. Don't you see what that would do to the poor kid?
Relax, Lois. If she's innocent, nothing will happen to her. I'd like to have a talk with her. She's still here, Jim?
She went home at 6 o'clock.
Look, Kent, maybe Lois is right. Maybe the kid's okay.
All right, if she is, I'll apologize and there'll be no harm done. But first, I'm going to have a talk with Mary Hennig at her home. I'll see you all later.
Clark Kent leaves, determined to investigate and talk with Mary Hennig in her home. The young girl tough is with Al Vincent, the crooked pawnbroker who employs juvenile delinquents to make money for him. In response to an urgent summons from Martin Higgins, his business partner and political front, Vincent has brought Mary, also known as Chickie, to Higgins' home, an old but sumptuous brownstone house on the fringe of the tenement district.
So you're Mary Hennig, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
We call her Chickie, Marty. Chickie, you're talking to the next mayor.
Not so fast, Al. Not so fast. We're in trouble again.
Well, what do you mean? I thought everything was Jake when Chickie here lifted them letters out of the Planet.
That's just it. She didn't get all the letters.
What?
Are you kidding?
I wish I were.
Look, what kind of a deal are you trying to pull?
Now, wait, Chickie. That's no way to talk to the next man.
I don't care who he is. Nobody's going to tell me I didn't get all them letters because I know I did.
And I tell you didn't. There's one missing. The one from Mush Brown, the slot machine king. Thanking me for all I've done for him and mentioning a $25,000 contribution to my campaign fund.
Hey, that's bad.
Yeah, it's worse than you think. If that letter is still in the Daily Planet's possession, my $1 million lawsuit is all washed up. Because I can't prove slander.
And how?
Yeah, and what's more, my chances for election are, well, they're sunk.
Hey, how do you know you didn't lose that letter?
You got a lot of nerve saying that?
Well, all I know is that
You stupid little punk. I ought to knock your teeth out for messing up this job.
Hold it, Al, hold it. Maybe Chickie's telling the truth when she says she got all the letters. Yeah, maybe you're holding one of them out on me.
What? Hey, now, wait a minute.
That'll make an awfully good instrument for blackmail. You know that the Planet could save its hide if it had that one letter. And you also know that they'd pay plenty for it. You could be figuring to double-cross me and sell it to them.
Why, you're kidding, Marty. Why, you must be kidding. Why, we're partners. We're pals. You know I wouldn't do nothing like that to you.
I think you would if you thought you could get away with it. But I also think you're too smart to try it, because, you know, if I really thought you did it, I'd...
Oh, cut it out, Marty. I turned over all the letters Chickie brought me. She must have forgot this one from Mush or lost it.
Don't you go passing the buck to me, you
Oh, wait a
dog.
minute. Chickie, what did you do when you took the letters from Mr. White's safe?
I made out like I was going to lunch and met Al around the corner. I gave them to him. All of them.
All right. How did you get the letters out of Mr. White's office and out of the building?
I took some newspaper proofs into Mr. White's office, like I was sent in with them. I was watching and seen he went to the art department with Miss Elain just before. So I got the key to the file out of his desk, lifted the papers, and put them in between the proofs. Then I put the key back and went to Miss Lane's office. After that,
You could have dropped one of the letters when you were leaving Mr. White's office.
I didn't, or they'd have found it. When they saw the filing cabinet was empty, they tore up the whole place.
All right, go on. Now, you say you went to Miss Lane's office.
Yeah,
Just what did you do there? Come on, try to remember everything.
I remember. I snitched a big envelope out of her desk and went in a closet where she told me I could hang my coat. I put the letters in the envelope and slipped it under my coat.
Is it possible that you might have dropped one of the letters in Miss Lane's closet, Chickie, when you were putting them in the envelope?
Yeah, how about that, Chickie? Think one of them could have dropped out when you were shoving the batch of them into your coat?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Don't think so. You gotta make sure.
How can I?
Only one way, stupid. Go back to the Planet and take a gander in that closet.
Oh, look, Al, I can't...
Go on, do like I say, or I'll turn you over to the cops.
Okay. I'll go right now.
Yeah?
Al, this is Chickie.
Well?
Listen, I'm calling from the Planet.
Yeah.
I found the letter.
Swell.
It was in the closet where I must have dropped it.
Okay, hustle it over to Higgins' house, fast.
Yeah, I'm leaving right now.
Oh, no, you're not.
Miss Lane.
I heard your conversation, Mary.
Stay away from me, Miss Lane.
I'm wise to you now. You two-faced little thief.
I warn you, Miss Lane.
You had me completely fooled.
Stand where you are and let me pass. Well, so help me, I'll let you have it.
Crouched and ready to spring, Mary Hennig wraps her hand around a heavy paperweight and glowers menacingly at Lois Lane, who, shocked at suddenly learning that her protege is a thieving juvenile delinquent, stands rooted to the floor, her eyes blazing with justifiable anger. Will Chickie make good her threat? We'll know in a moment when we return for the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
Say, gang, you know something that'll make you want to put on speed while you're getting ready for breakfast? It's Kellogg's Pep. Yes, sir. If you know there's a bowl of Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine cereal, waiting for you, you're likely to show up at breakfast on the double quick. Because who can resist that keen sunshine flavor? Who can put off sampling that crisp, mouth-watering tenderness? Who can delay when Kellogg's Pep is such a smooth treat? And who wants to resist Pep? Because Pep is good for you, too. Sure, gives you loads of solid whole wheat nourishment plus. So you're on the Sunbeam gang if you pitch right in and finish off every tender flake in your bowl. That's especially important nowadays, you know. It's not a good idea to waste cereal. Because the cereal grains, like the whole wheat and Kellogg's Pep, have been picked out to give that swell grain nourishment to fellas and girls all over the world. Keep that in mind when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's. Make sure there's no waste at your house. If you pour your own Pep, take it easy. Pour it carefully and eat up every bit you pour out. Tip off the rest of your family, too. Get the right habit, gang. Eat all your pep. Don't waste it.
Trapped by Lois Lane in the Daily Planet's deserted editorial offices, Mary Hennick, desperate, menaces the girl reporter with a heavy paperweight.
You better let me out of here, Miss Lane.
Oh, no. Not since I know now that Clark was right. It was you who tipped off Al Vincent about the raid and then stole the Higgins letters, wasn't it?
You can't prove nothing like that.
That letter in your hand, the one I heard you tell someone you came back for, is all the proof we need. Now give it to me, Mary.
Nothing doing.
I said give it to me, you nasty little...
Get away from me.
I'm going to make you pay for pulling the wool over my eyes. Now,
I warned you. I said I was going to let you have it.
Breathing hard, Mary Hennick looks down at the limp form of Lois Lane lying motionless on the floor where she had dropped. Swiftly, the young, tough, spent anger turns to horror, and she trembles like a leaf as it occurs to her that this time, as all who follow careers of crime inevitably do, she may have gone too far. This may be murder. What has happened to Lois Lane? And what will happen now to the planet's fight against the influences that lead to juvenile delinquency? Don't miss one moment of tomorrow's exciting episode, whatever you do. Tune in tomorrow and every day, same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Say, gang, you know what fun it is to make your dog sit up and beg for something good to eat? Well, if you want to make sure your dog gets a good dinner that'll help keep him strong and husky, ask your mother to give him Kellogg's Grow Pup dog food. If you feed Grow Pup to your dog along with the scraps of meat and fat, he ought to get along just fine. That kind of eating will help give him strong bones and teeth and muscles. There's Grow Pup Ribbon, Grow Pup Meal, and Grow Pup Pellets. Just see which your dog likes best and ask Mother to feed it to him regularly. Remember, that's Kellogg's Grow Pup. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today, with Lois Lane lying still and apparently lifeless at her feet, Mary Hennick realizes with mounting fear that her adventure in petty crime may end in murder.
Hello there, gang. This is your pal Dan McCullough. You know, old man Sun sure is on the beam these late spring days. Why, he shows up at breakfast time almost as regular as clockwork. Sheds good old sunny cheer all over the place. And, gang, if you want to be on the sunbeam, too, latch on to Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. There's a sunny, golden toasted treat that is a treat. Crisp, delicate flakes of real whole wheat, full to the brim with sparkling sunshine flavor. It's a keen flavor, a delicious flavor, a come-on flavor that keeps your spoon coming right back for more. Makes you want to dig right in and polish the bowl clean as a whistle. And, you know, that's the right idea. Sure, it's mighty important to get the good out of every bit of your breakfast dish of Kellogg's Pep. Because it's good for you, and because it's not smart to waste cereal, particularly nowadays. You see, whole wheat is one of the cereal grains picked out to send to fellows and girls all around the world. Think of that, gang, when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's. Make sure there's no waste at your house. If you pour your own Pep, take time to pour it carefully and eat up every bit you pour out. And say, kind of keep an eye on your younger brothers and sisters, too. Just make sure you eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Having wormed her way into a job on the Daily Planet, young Mary Hennig, who was also known as Chickie, stole certain letters from the newspaper office. Letters which exposed Martin Higgins, a candidate for mayor of Metropolis, as an ally of gangsters and racketeers. But in her guilty haste, Mary dropped one letter in a closet in Lois Lane's office. And that evening, when the planet was deserted, she returned and found it. She was using Lois's office phone to report her success to Al Vincent, a crooked pawnbroker and henchman of Higgins who hired her to steal the letters, when Lois entered and overheard her. Shocked, Lois demanded the letter. Mary refused to give it up. Lois tried to take it from her, and in the ensuing scuffle, Mary struck her on the head with a heavy paperweight. As we continue now, the girl reporter lies motionless on the carpet. Horrified at what she has done, Mary gets Al Vincent back on the phone. Listen.
She's dead, Al. She's dead.
What are you talking about, Chickie?
Miss Lane, she's dead. But I didn't mean to kill her. Honest, I didn't mean to do it. So help me, I only...
Wait a minute. You mean you bumped her off?
Yeah, but I didn't mean to. Honest, I didn't.
Holy smokes.
It was an accident, Al. She come in when I was talking to you. She heard everything. She said I'd be arrested, and I got scared.
You dumb little sap. You got us all in a jam.
I didn't mean to do it. I tell you.
Shut up. Where are you?
In her office. Miss Lane, she's laying right here. You gotta help me, Al.
Stop whining. Did anyone see you do it?
No. There was just me and her.
That's a break. Did anyone see you come in the place?
The watchman and the elevator man.
Oh, that's bad.
That's why I'm afraid to go out. When they find her, they'll know I did it. You gotta tell me what to do, Al. You gotta help
I ought to let you take the rap. That's what I ought to do. You don't let me.
Oh, no. No, you can't. I didn't mean to...
You'd spill everything. Listen now. We gotta get her out of there. And you, too. What floor are you on?
The 10th. But you can't get in. You gotta have a pass.
Don't worry about that. Now, look. Is there a lock on this office you're in?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Lock it. And stay in there till the boys come. I'll send them right over.
Trembling with terror in the belief that she is a murderess, Mary Hennig locks the door to the little office and, burying her face in her hands, cowers in a corner as far away from the inert form of Lois Lane as she can get. At the same moment, unaware of what has happened, Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, is talking with Mary's mother in the kitchen of a shabby tenement flat. Without realizing that Kent suspects her daughter of complicity with the crooked Higgins-Vincent group, Mrs. Hennig, instinctively worried, nervously smooths her apron with red, work-roughened hands as she tries to make her guest welcome.
I hope you don't mind waiting in the kitchen, Mr. Kent.
No.
The children are asleep in the other room.
Of course I don't mind, Miss Hennig. You don't know where Mary might be, do you?
No, I don't. She should have been home by now. Could you tell me what you wanted to see her about?
Oh, it's nothing important. It's just something that came up in the office today.
I see. Tell me honestly, Mr. Kent, she didn't get into any trouble, did she?
Well, what makes you ask that?
Oh, nothing, really. I just asked. You see, living in this neighborhood makes me worry about Mary.
Has Mary been giving you cause to worry, Mrs.
Oh,
Hennig?
no. Mary's a good girl, but just the same I worry about her because all these bad kids around here, well, you know, sometimes they give good kids bad ideas.
Yes, of course.
Seems like they're nearly all bad children in this neighborhood.
Oh, most youngsters aren't really bad.
They are around here. You don't know.
Yes, I do know. They're not really bad, Mrs. Hennig. It's just that they fall into wrong ways in overcrowded tenement districts like this because there's no place for them to play except in the streets.
Yes, that's true.
They start hanging around the corner pool room and join gangs and steal and smash windows just for the excitement to let off steam.
Oh, I know all that, Mr. Kent. But what's a person to do? I'd move out of this neighborhood tomorrow if I could.
Well,
but this tenement is all I can afford, so I can't do anything.
Now, don't you worry, Mrs. Hennig. When Henry Marshall becomes mayor, he'll tear down these slums and build decent housing and parks and playgrounds and gymnasiums. That'll go far toward wiping out juvenile delinquency.
I certainly hope so.
Say, look, it's after 8:30. Mary left the office over 2 hours ago. You said she was supposed to come right home.
She was, but sometimes she just don't come right home. Mm-hmm. So if you're in a hurry, maybe you better not wait.
Well, it's important that I see her. Don't you have any idea where she goes when she doesn't come home?
No, I don't, Mr. Kent. Mary, well, she's changed lately. Mm-hmm. She used to tell me everything. Now she don't like me to ask questions. She says she's too grown up for that.
Grown up? She's only 15, isn't she?
Yes, that's all, but I can't seem to do anything with her anymore. You see, I'm not very well, and I work all day in the laundry. I don't seem to have the strength when I get home to handle her like I should.
I see.
When her father was here, it was different. But since he got tuberculosis and had to go to the sanitarium...
Sanitarium? Mary said he was dead.
Oh, no. She couldn't have said that.
Oh, yes. Well, now, wait a minute. Maybe she didn't. Maybe I'm wrong. Go on, Mrs. Hennig. You were saying something about handling Mary.
Well, I don't want you to think Mary is bad, Mr. Kent. She's really a good girl. It's just that,
Well, I think she needs somebody to talk to her.
I intend to.
I'd be grateful if you'd tell her how it's wrong to stay out of school like she did again today.
What's that? Was her school open today?
Of course. I found out she stayed away again today.
Oh, it's more important than ever that I talk to her now. I've got to get out and make a phone call.
But aren't you going to wait for her?
No, I've got to make this call first. There's a drugstore at the corner. I can phone from there. And look, please, don't worry, Mrs. Hennig. I'll do my best to work things out.
Work things out?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean, Mr. Kent?
Well, I can't explain right now, but I'll be back later. Now, just you sit tight, and if Mary comes in, hold on to her.
Hello?
Jim, this is Mr. Kent.
Mr. Kent, hey, what happened to you? I've been waiting in this restaurant for an hour.
I'm sorry, I've been tied up. Listen, Jim, when you got to the office early this morning, you found Mary Hennig there, didn't you?
Yeah, she thought we started work at 6:30. Cheated herself out of an hour's sleep.
Uh-huh. Didn't she say there was no school today?
Uh-huh. Why?
Oh, nothing. I just wanted to be sure. Look, is Lois there?
No, she went back to the office to finish a story. She said we should pick her up on our way to police headquarters.
Oh, well, you pick her up and go over to headquarters. I'll see you there in a little while.
Oh, but look. Mr. White made a date for all of us to see Inspector Henderson at 9 o'clock.
Well,
he'll be sore as a boil if you're not there.
I can't help it, Jim. Tell him I'll be there as soon as I can, and that I may bring the person who stole the Higgins letters with me.
No kidding. Well, listen, who is it?
No time to talk now, Jim. Just do as I say. Go over to the Planet, pick up Lois, and hot foot it to Henderson's office. I'll see you there later. So long.
Leaving the drugstore, Kent steps into a dark doorway, strips off his business suit, and stands revealed in the blue costume and red cape of Superman. Then, up, and away! Leaping high into the night sky, the Man of Steel streaks away in an effort to find Mary Hennig, not realizing that he has unwittingly sent Jim Olsen on a dangerous errand. For at the same time, in Lois Lane's office at the Daily Planet, two thugs sent by Al Vincent, one of them holding a flashlight, look into the pale, unconscious face of the girl reporter as Mary, shivering in fright, stands by, biting her nails.
Relax, Chickie. I tell you, this dame ain't dead.
Are you sure? She's so still.
She's just out cold, but good.
You must have given her once to put her out like this.
I didn't mean to hurt her bad. I only wanted to...
Okay, skip it.
Yeah, stop your blubbering. We gotta get out of here.
We gotta take this dame with us. Give me a hand, Louis.
Wait. What are you taking her for?
What do you want to do? Leave her here to tell the cops what you've done, you dopey kid?
Well, no, only...
Come on. We're wasting time. Al Vincent's waiting for us.
But how are you going to get her out of here? You can't take her down in the elevator.
Yeah, we know that. We're taking her down a fire escape through the storeroom. That's how we come in. All right, come on, Louis. Grab her legs.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
What's Al going to do to her?
Will you stop killing time, you dumb dame? Besides, what's it to you what Al does to her?
Well, I don't want her to get hurt no more, that's all.
Hold it.
What's the matter, Louis?
I think somebody just come up in the elevator.
Miss Lane, where are you? Oh, creepers.
Somebody looking for this Lane thing.
Know who it is, Chickie?
Yeah, it's Jim Olsen, a reporter.
Okay. Just keep quiet. We'll take care of him.
Crouching in the deep shadows of the dark office, Mary and the two thugs wait quietly as Jim Olsen, blissfully unconscious of his danger, walks through the deserted city room in search of Lois Lane. What will happen? We'll know more in a moment, so stand by for the exciting climax of this episode.
Say, gang, I just thought of something. If you haven't tried this week's Pep Dish of the Week, you'd better make a mental note right now, because you sure wouldn't want to miss out on this treat. Boy, it's regular. Here's the name, Date Bait. And here's how you make it. In your breakfast bowl, make alternate layers of Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine cereal, and dates. You know, cut into fairly small pieces. Isn't that a cinch? First Pep, then dates, then more Pep, and so on. Pour on milk, and you have this week's Pep Dish of the Week, Date Bait. It's a smooth dish that'll really bait your morning appetite, believe me. Fact is, no matter how you serve it, those tender, crisp flakes of Kellogg's Pep with their keen sunshine flavor taste so terrific you can hardly wait to pitch in and finish off every bit in your bowl. And a good thing that is, too, especially nowadays when the cereal grains are being sent to fellows and girls overseas. So, gang, don't waste cereal. When Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, make it your job to see that it's not wasted. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully and eat up every bit you pour out. Pass the word along to the rest of your family, too. Remember, eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
Unaware that Lois Lane lies unconscious in her office in the presence of two thugs and her attacker, Mary Hennig, Jim Olsen walks across the deserted city room calling for her.
Miss Lane. Hey, Miss Lane, where are you?
That's Jim Olsen. What'll we do if he sees us?
Shut up. Get behind this door, quick.
He's turning on lights.
He'll see us.
Now, behind this door he won't. Now be quiet.
I'm scared.
Gee whiz. Miss Lane.
He's seen it, Dame Lee, there. Here he comes, Louis. Get set to let him have it.
Gasping as he sees Lois Lane's motionless figure on the carpet, Jimmy Olsen, unaware of the ambush that awaits him, dashes into her office and into trouble. What will happen to the boy reporter and to Lois Lane while Superman, unaware of what is taking place, is several miles away? Don't miss the next exciting episode in this story of a fight against juvenile delinquency. Tune in again Monday, same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday at the same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Lots of you kids have dogs, and I'll bet one of the things they enjoy most is a tug of war. Dogs seem to get such a kick out of using their strong teeth and muscles. Now, if you want to help keep your dog strong and husky, feed him Kellogg's Grow Pup dog food. It's just wonderful for dogs and has a good meaty flavor dogs like. There are 3 different kinds. There's Grow Pup Ribbon, Grow Pup Meal, and Grow Pup Pellets. Ask your mother to get Kellogg's Grow Pup today and see if your dog doesn't gobble it right up. And be sure to be with us on Monday for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the 4 walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are alone in a giant forest, seeking a way of escape, while around you, gaining with your every step, the relentless enemy, which is fire, is closing in from every side, until there will be only one way out, and that way is death.
So listen now as Escape brings you Anthony Ellis's exciting story, The Red Forest.
The trail had led from a lumber town along a washboard road and into the forest. I'm no woodsman, but in the daylight, I found the place. And then I started back to the car. But something was different. Maybe the tall shadows. There wasn't a trail anymore. Only streams where there hadn't been before. Trees that were the same, but weren't. And sounds. Sounds that, when you were a kid on a hike, were fun. And now they scared you. I'd thrown my last cigarette away 3-4 hours before. And that's when the fire had started. And it was then that I started to run. Run. It was nearly dark when I found the road. I'd come to it about a half a mile below where I'd parked my car. A half hour later, on the outskirts of a little town, my headlights picked up a girl standing by the side of the road. She carried a cheap paper suitcase, and she was thumbing a ride.
ride, mister?
Sure.
Oh,
Put your case in the back.
oh yeah. Not many cars on the road tonight.
No. Been walking long?
Uh-huh. On my way to Missoula. My last ride dropped me a mile or so back.
Yeah?
You live around here?
No.
I don't guess you'd be going as far as Missoula.
Sure.
Gee, that's swell. I got a job there starting tomorrow. Kind of broke, if you know what I mean. Buses cost money.
I know what you mean.
Hey, your face.
What?
You've been hurt. You're all scratched up.
Oh, I was hunting. I got lost just the other side of town. If you want to take a nap, it's okay. We've got about 100 miles to go.
Thanks. Gee, it's nice out here. Kind of lonely. Not much of a road. Smells good. I wonder what that is over there.
What?
Well, bright light. See? Could almost be Seattle from a long ways off. I had a boyfriend used to take me driving at night. And when we came back, you could see a glow. Just like that.
I knew what it was. That glow in the sky. It was on our right. And as the road twisted through the trees, it fell behind us. And then to our left. And then circled until it was straight ahead again. The girl had fallen asleep very quickly. I saw her face in the light from the dash. Thin, pretty, and peaceful. It was about 15 minutes after I'd picked her up that I saw the lights on the road, and then closer the figures waving.
Hey, are we there already? I just got to sleep.
No, there's something wrong. There's a cop coming this way. What's the trouble?
Plenty. We want you, mister.
Wait, you want me?
Fire. Bad one. We gotta have every man we can find. We can use her, too.
Oh, well, look, I'd like to.
Hello?
Okay.
Rose, the forest ranger. He'll explain.
Look, I'm sorry, but I'm on my way to Missoula.
Not tonight, you're not. I've got authority to do this, mister. I'm sorry, but we need you.
But I haven't got...
You couldn't get much farther anyway. The road's cut off. The mountain's going up like a torch. If it spreads, there's 3 towns going to go, too. Come on, I got some clothes and boots for you.
Hey, what about me? I got to get to Missoula. I got a job in the morning.
Sorry, sister. You got a job serving coffee here.
You cop.
$5 a day.
A day?
Or longer. It depends. Let's go.
There was nothing else to do, so I got into the clothes the ranger gave me and then stood around and waited. I wasn't tired anymore. Just scared. Scared of going into that forest again. The wind came up a bit, and with it, the smell. Smell of burning. Smell of death. A long way off, but closer than the glow had been, we could see flickering against the sky. And it was in a lot of places. And then suddenly it was too warm and too quiet.
All right, you guys. The telephone's burned out. I've made contact with a shortwave set. Mister, what's your name?
Pindell.
Pindell. Ever use one of these?
What, a walkie-talkie? Yeah, sure. I was in the signal corps.
Okay, you'll carry it. Now, listen. This is bad. It's real bad. The fire's got behind us. We can't get any more men through here for several hours. They've got to come around from the other side. That's 30 miles.
What's the use then? Let's get out.
Crowbar.
Yeah?
I'm putting you in charge. You know what to do. Get in as close as you can to the river and set a backfire.
Sure.
I've got to stick here with the transmitter. I'll let you know what's happening.
Sure, you stay here with a pretty girl, or we go and get fried.
Shut up, Hanson. You'll have to go with them. 3's not enough.
Sure.
Well, the cop's going to do some work.
You better take along some food and canteens. Now step on it.
Come on.
Hi. Got a couple of sandwiches I made up. Here.
Thanks.
It sure is something, isn't it?
Yeah.
You scared?
Scared? Why?
Your face is white. You scared?
I'm from the city.
I know what you mean. Those trees give me the willies, too. Dark.
Yeah, sure, that's it.
You'll be all right.
Listen, kid, if anything happens, you take my car. Here are the keys.
What do you mean?
Well, if I don't come back, keep the car. Here's the registration.
You kidding? You're coming back?
Yeah. So long.
Hey, my name's Jan. What's yours?
Wally?
You be careful, Wally.
We went into the forest. Men with spades, men against fire and terror. There was the man they called Fat. 300 pounds of ungainly body topped by a tiny and almost disgustingly childlike face. There was Crowbar, a big, dark man, quiet and filled with a knowledge of the woods. Hanson, the state trooper, thin and wiry, his natty khaki shirt stained with sweat and dirt. And me. We'd gone about a mile when we first heard it. It came in gusts with the wind high above us.
Wait a minute. Oh,
shut up.
Let's get out of here.
About 3 miles, I think. It's coming fast. We're about that far from the river, aren't we?
Yeah. Listen, you guys. If it's crossed the river, we're sunk. Let's get out.
Hey, Wally.
Yeah.
Get Roe. Tell him it's coming this way pretty fast.
Look, sparks up there. Look, see?
Sure, Fat. Sparks, fire. You chicken?
Oh,
Pendel calling Roe. Pendel calling Roe. Over.
Roe. This is Roe. Over.
We're still about 3 miles from the river. We can hear it. Over.
You can't backfire now. The wind's changed. You better come back. Over.
Right. He says go back.
That's okay with me, boy.
Come on.
Gee, listen to that.
I wanted to run again. That same feeling I'd known before. The fear all around us, closing in and down. There was no sky above, only blackness, tinged with red, pressing. And behind, the living forest running, overtaking and passing us. When we reached the road again, the sound was steady. But I had a strange feeling of relief when I saw the forest ranger and the girl, Jan. It was like coming home. I think it was then that I stopped being afraid.
Come on, Roe. We can't do no good now.
We got to try and join up with the others.
What do you mean?
The fire's on 3 sides of it. That means we head southeast.
Oh, can't we take the road back?
No, it's cut off. There's 200 men trying to keep a path open for us. We've got to make 5 miles and in a hurry.
Bad as that?
It's worse. If we don't get there in time and they can't make a fire break, we're going to be smack in the middle, and there's not going to be any way out.
We will return to Escape in just a moment. Lightning may strike more than once in the same place, but it can't begin to compete with man when it comes to starting forest fires. For one fire caused by lightning, supposedly rational humans cause 9 by trifling carelessness with matches, cigarettes, and bonfires. We need our forests for timber, to conserve our water supply, to add beauty to our lives. Let's not burn them up. And now, back to Escape.
We didn't carry anything but canteens. It was hot, and because it was hot, it made you thirsty even when you didn't need water. The going was rough, and we could only head in what we thought was the general direction of safety. It was at the ridge that we lost the first man.
Wind's changing again, Crowbar.
Which way?
You can't tell. It's haywire with this fire.
Well, do we go straight ahead?
Might as well.
Wait a minute. You see that ridge?
Yeah?
Well, I'm going up there. Shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. I'll be able to get a better look. Give me the flash. I'll signal to you.
I don't know. We haven't got much of a start. The fire's behind us and a lot faster.
Better than walking toward it. Remember, it's on 3 sides.
Okay. Make it fast, Crowbar.
Sure. Good luck. Thanks.
Well, what do we do? Just sit and wait?
That's right.
Now, listen. You're the ranger. Why don't you go? What you send Crowbar for?
He's fought fires before. He knows. He's a better man to climb up there. He's faster than me.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Hi. Oh.
You okay, kid?
Oh, sure, Wally. It's fine. I guess I'm not used to walking, though. These high heels don't help.
Oh, you take it easy.
My feet feel like they did once at a dance I went to. Some big lunk climbed all over me.
I guess you won't have that job in Missoula, huh?
If I get out of this, that's all I care about.
Yeah, it's tough.
Hey, Wally. I'm scared. Give me your hand, will you?
She held on tight to my hand. It wasn't the darkness that frightened her now. There wasn't darkness anymore, but a yellowish-red light that came from everywhere. It was another kind of fear. Fear of something you could see, hear, and with every minute feel more and more. We waited there 10 minutes. 11, 12, and then...
You hear something?
Yeah.
Seemed to come from over there.
From the ridge, maybe?
Maybe.
Listen, you think something got Crowbar, a lion or something?
I'll go up.
No.
What do you mean, no?
No time. We waited too long.
Well, he may be hurt.
I know that, but it'll take you longer than it took Crowbar to get there. Come on.
No.
You couldn't find him in the dark. Who says he's hurt anyway? We'll move on. He'll catch up.
I'd say we go after him.
Not me.
All right, put it to a vote. Hurry up, Hanson.
We go on.
That?
Let's get out of here.
And I say go on. That leaves you, miss.
I'm staying with Wally.
All right. We'll go with you. We never saw Crowbar again. Maybe a lion got him. Maybe he got lost. We never saw him again. The ranger went ahead, finding trails somehow, keeping us moving. We began to climb. And after a while, we were on another ridge. And for the first time, we could see the fire. It stretched out for miles, like a huge red sea. And it was all around us.
Oh, gee, Wally.
Yeah, I know, kid. I know.
Will it hurt much?
I don't know.
Take a breather. I'm going to try the walkie-talkie again.
He's not scared, is he?
I guess not.
Is that because he's a ranger? Or because he's very brave?
Jan, you're a funny girl.
No, I'm not. Hey,
What?
give me a kiss, will you?
Sure. Why did you want me to do that?
I don't know. You're a nice fella. I miss you.
Listen, Jan. I want to tell you something.
What?
If we get out, well, maybe.
Yeah.
Look, I'm all right. I mean, maybe we could have fun together.
I know.
Well, I did something wrong once. I killed a man.
Why?
He framed me. He got me put away for something I didn't do. We were driving in the east and ran over a woman. He was at the wheel, but he ran off and left me.
Because you didn't do it.
That's what I said, but I'd been drinking and went to sleep. When I woke up, I was behind the wheel. He put me there. And that's how the cops found me. I got 5 years.
Oh.
I was married. I lost my wife, my job, my friends. And I swore I'd get my pal. And I did. He knew I was after him, and he ran. But I caught up with him.
I don't care.
Don't you? I don't know why I told you that. Maybe because if we do get out...
Sure. I know. It's okay.
Come on, Findell. The Ranger's moving off.
It was the state trooper, Hanson. I worried how much he'd heard, but there wasn't time to worry about it then. Rowe thought he'd seen a break in the fire, and we headed for it. When we got down in the trees again, I began to get a feeling that I'd been there before. It was nothing I could recognize, but just a feeling. A couple of 100 yards along, I knew why.
Hold up. There's a shack. Looks like someone's living there. Better have a look.
The door's open.
Hey.
The man.
Give me a hand here.
Sure.
He's been shot.
Yeah. A few hours ago from the looks of it.
You think the man who did this might have started it?
Well, what do you mean?
A fire. Started a few miles north of here. We figured somebody got careless with a match. But maybe it was the killer running away.
I'd like to get the fellow who did that. Maybe I will.
Me too. Well, we can't do anything here. Come on.
From there on, nobody talked. It was hard enough to lift your feet. Jan was nearly through. I half carried her. If Rowe knew where he was leading us, he didn't say. We followed and knew that sooner or later we'd stop because we were too tired to go on. Fat was the first.
Wait a minute.
You've got to go on. There's still a chance.
All right. Just for a minute. No. Need rest. So please, 1 minute, that's all.
Get up.
No, I can't. I can't.
Okay, you stay.
No.
Well, then come on.
I can't.
Well, I'm sorry. Catch up to it. Stay on the train.
No.
Come on, Jan.
We're going to leave him.
We have to.
No. Don't leave me. The fire's not coming. Please, take the way.
Can we help him?
Oh, we're almost dead ourselves.
I can't. Please, please. My dearest, please.
I don't know whether it was because none of us liked him or because we knew that we couldn't do anything. Funny how you can lose a man and know he's going to die, and you put him out of your mind. Perhaps we wanted to live so badly we figured that fire would take time out from us to attend to Fat. Hanson was next.
I'm finished.
No, you're not.
Yeah. A little farther to go.
We can still get through.
No, you go ahead. Save the grill.
I'm sorry, Hanson. I wish...
No, go on. Maybe I can catch up. But I gotta rest. You, Wally, do me a favor.
What?
I lost my gun somewhere. You know what I mean. It'll be quicker that way. You got one?
Yeah.
Thanks. One bullet fired, eh? That's what I wanted to know. Okay, Findell. I've had enough rest. I can keep up with you now. I feel a little safer with this on me. All right, go ahead. I'll walk behind you.
He knew what I'd done. But I didn't care now. It wasn't important anymore. Right now, all I wanted to do was get Jan out of this.
What was that?
It was behind us. It sounded like Hanson.
Come on. Come on, but watch that ravine.
He must have fallen.
We gotta help him.
There's no time.
We got to.
Oh, he didn't help Fat. Why him?
I don't know. Please.
All right. All right, stay here. Hanson! Hanson! Down here! But keep calling! Here! Over this way! This way! Okay.
My leg.
Hey, can you get up?
It's broken, I guess.
Hanson, you know about me, don't you?
Yeah, I know. I heard you telling the girl.
She won't say anything.
No, I guess not.
The fellow had it coming to him.
I wouldn't know. I'm a cop.
Yeah.
It's getting hot.
Here. Put your arm over my shoulder.
No, you can't get me up there.
Well, I can try. Come on.
No good. We can't make it.
I'll get Roe. I'll come back.
No, there's no time. Go on. Get out of here.
Well,
go on. I got your gun. Nobody will ever know.
That's not sorry.
Get out of here.
Somehow I made it up the trail again. I thought I heard a shot. Or maybe it was a burning tree going down. John was waiting for me. We caught up with Roe and went on until the trees began to thin out. Then we heard the shots of men. But I don't remember anything else. Because I passed out for a long time. When I woke up, Jan was sitting by my bed. And it was cool again.
Hi.
Jan, did they get Hanson out?
No.
No. Listen, Jan, about what I told you back there. You know, the man I killed.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sorry. I mean, it was all right about him, but not Hanson, Crowbar, and Fat. That was my fault, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I want you to call the cops.
No.
Now, listen, I've been dreaming about it. It's no good. Now, be a good kid and call the cops.
I don't have to. They're outside in the corridor.
So what do you mean?
Rose sent for him. You told what you did while you were unconscious.
I told... Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm glad.
You want me to hang around?
All right. That's up to you, I guess.
I guess it is. I'll hang around.
Escape has brought you The Red Forest, written and directed by Anthony Ellis, starring William Conrad as Wally and Georgia Ellis as Jan. Featured in the cast were Parley Bear, John Daner, Jay Novello, and Tom Tully. The special music for Escape was composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
You are in a lighthouse off the steaming coast of French Guiana, while around you, frightful in its fury, a nightmare of terror and violence is closing in on you. A nightmare from which there is no escape.
So listen next week when, by popular request, Escape repeats one of its most unusual stories, Three Skeleton Key by Georges Toudoux. Those favorites of millions, yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and Mr. and Mrs. North, make for highly exciting listening on as Johnny prowls the world for adventure and the Norths meet murder merrily. Now, most of these same stations also bring you 21st Precinct. Great stories based on the world's largest police department. Consider this an invitation to excitement and adventure Tuesdays on CBS Radio. This is George Walsh speaking. And remember, Gene Herschel stars as kindly Dr. Christian every Wednesday evening on the CBS Radio Network.
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are in a lighthouse off the steaming coast of French Guiana, while around you, frightful in its fury, a nightmare of terror and violence is closing in on you. A nightmare from which there is no escape.
Tonight, by popular request, we repeat one of the most terrifying stories ever presented on Escape. Listen now as we bring you Three Skeleton Key by Georges Toudoux.
Picture this place. A gray tapering cylinder welded by iron rods and concrete to the key. Itself a bare black rock, 150 feet long, maybe 40 wide. That's at low tide. At high tide, just the light rising 110 feet straight up out of the ocean. And all about it, the churning water. Gray-green, scum-dappled, warm as soup, and swarming with gigantic bat-like devilfish, great violet schools of the Portuguese man-of-war, and, yes, sharks, the big ones, the 15-footers. And as if that wasn't enough, there was a hot, dank, rotten-smelling wind that came at us day and night off the jungle swamps of the mainland. A wind that smells like death. Set in the base of the light was a watertight bronze door, and in you went. And up. Yes, up and round past the tanks of oil and the coils of rope, the cases of wicks, racks of lanterns, sacks of spuds and cartons and cans, and up, round and round, Over the light storeroom was the food storeroom. And over the food storeroom was the bunk room where the three of us slept. And over the bunk room was the living and cooking room. And over the living and cooking room was the light. She was a beauty, balanced like a ballerina on the glistening steel axle of her rotary mechanism. And at night you'd lie there on the stone deck of the gallery with her revolving smoothly and quietly over your head, easing her bright white eye 360 degrees around the horizon. You'd lie there watching to see that the feeders kept working, that everything ran right. And it wouldn't be bad. The other two fellows snoring in their sacks 2 levels down. You'd smoke your pipe to kill the stink of the wind, and it wouldn't be bad. About those other two, Louis and Auguste. What a pair. Louis, he was head man, was a big fellow from the Basque country. Black beard, little hard black eyes, and a pair of arms that, I tell you, those arms were as big around as my legs. Yes, head man he was, and what word he let go was law. A silent fellow. And although I spent my first 2 weeks trying to strike up a real conversation, the most I could ever get out of him was...
John, I took up this profession because I don't like people. They talk too much. It's quiet work, light tending. Let's keep it that way. Understand? You're getting to be as bad as Auguste. But maybe for one thing...
That was Louis. And when he accused me of becoming like Auguste, I quietened down because Auguste was the talkingest man I've ever met. The talkingest and the ugliest. He was hunchbacked, stood 4 feet high, had red hair and big blue eyes. It seems he'd been an actor in Paris.
I played in over 200 different productions, my dear boy, at the Grand Guignol. Oh, but it was monstrous, horrible, the way we used to scare the audiences. And I was hated. Yes, they used to throw things and hiss and bare their teeth at me. Well, finally it got too bad, and I couldn't stand it any longer. I gave up the theater. My nerves, you understand. Yes, gave it up completely. I really did. Couldn't stand it any longer.
It all started one morning at 2:30. I was on watch, lying on the cool stone deck, pulling on my pipe, staring out at the blackness, the phosphorescent comas, and the big yellow stars, when out of the corner of my eye I noticed something show up for a second, something the light had touched, far off. I waited for her to come around again, and when she did, there it was. A 3-master. A big one. About a half-mile off and coming down out of the Norna-West, coming straight for us. You must understand our light was where it was for a very good reason. Dangerous submerged reefs around us, and ships kept clear. But this one, this sailing vessel, was coming straight on. I went over to the gallery door and yelled, "Louis! Louis!
What is it?
Ship! Headed for the reef!"
Coming right out.
I had the glasses out now. I couldn't make her name, but I could see her quite plainly. All sails set, the foam creaming away under her bow, her beautiful line, the Dutch ship, I guessed her. But why didn't she turn? Every time it passed, our light hit her with the glare of day.
Ship? Where?
Norna-West. Light will touch her in a moment.
Can't they see?
Look at her. She just keeps coming on.
Those square heads.
What is it? What is it?
Watch Norna-West.
No. I know what it is.
What?
The Dutchman. The Flying Dutchman. We did a play about her once. Oh, what a performance. You ghastly galleon, hag-ridden, curse-driven Musson.
Shut up.
Shut up!
She's luffing.
Yes.
A sloppy way to come about. No. She's derelict, that's it.
Derelict?
The crew left her for some reason or other. But instead of sinking, she's gone on, running before every wind.
She'll not run long, not with these reefs to break her up.
A beautiful ship. Now, why would men leave a beautiful ship like that?
She didn't ram us, although we all expected it. But as we waited for the crash, she luffed again, caught some odd gust, and went about. We watched her the rest of those black hours, heeling and rocking, pushed and pulled by every stray wind, every freak current. Watched her until the dawn came, till the sea turned from black to a pearly gray, and on she came again, heading for us. We all had our glasses trained on her now.
Argus, didn't kill the light.
Right, Chief.
She doesn't look so good by daylight. Think she'll ground this time? I said, do you think she'll ground this time?
Oh, that's impossible. Absolutely impossible.
What?
Here, take my glasses. They're better than yours.
All right. What is it that you're... I had to focus. And then my breath froze in my throat. The decks were swarming with a dark brown carpet that looked like a gigantic fungus, but undulating. And on the masts and yards, the guys and all were hundreds, no thousands, no millions. I don't know. An uncountable number of tremendous rats.
You see them?
Yes, I see them.
Now we know why she's a derelict.
Yes, now we know.
What are you two doing here? Give me a look.
Yes, give him the glasses. Take a good look, chatterbox. Give you something to talk about.
She's still heading for us.
Yes.
But if she's going to turn, she'd better turn soon.
Suppose she doesn't.
You mean suppose she piles up on the quay?
Low tide?
Yes, it is.
Where was all the conversation, August, huh? Here, you want the glasses again? You want another look?
No.
She's still coming on.
Go away.
Turn, will you? Turn, I say. I pray you, turn. She struck.
The rats. Look, underwater, like a carpet.
They're swimming.
Sure, they're swimming. Those are ship's rats.
But they're swimming for the rocks.
The door below is open.
Come on. Auguste, get the windows. Maybe they can climb.
Right, Chief, but hurry. Hurry.
You see them?
No. Oh, yes, I do. Up at the other end of the rocks.
Look at them.
Millions.
They smell it. Here they come. The door. Close the door.
And it's stuck.
Here, like me.
Move you. Here. Made it.
Hold. That was close.
What do these look? There!
What do you mean?
Take him!
What a brute!
Oh, he was as big as a tomcat. Bigger! Eyes were wild and red, his teeth long, sharp, and yellow. He went for us, starting, ramming us. Then we fought that one rat all over the room. It was like fighting a panther.
I got it!
We better get aloft. As we ran up the winding staircase, we passed the tiny windows of the various levels, and at every one was a thick, wriggling, screaming curtain of brown fur. I was ahead of Louis, and I dreaded each successful level. Suppose they found a way in?
Look at them. Oh, will you look at them?
It's a nightmare.
Will you look at them?
The air of the gallery was thick and fetid with the stink of them. The light was dim, brown, filtered through the crawling mass that swarmed over the glass. All about us, we couldn't see the sky. Nothing. Nothing but them. Their red eyes, their claws, their wriggling, hairy snouts, and their teeth. The rats. They screamed and howled and threw themselves against the glass. They were starving. And we three, we stood in the center of the glass room under our beautiful light. And we waited.
What can we do? What can we do, Chief?
Take it easy, Argus. Take it easy.
I can't. I just can't.
It won't do any good to... It won't do any good to stand here and shake. That's right.
Go away. Go away. Do you hear me? Go away this instant.
They won't go away until...
Until what?
Until they've been... fed.
We will return to Escape in just a moment. Academy Award winner Joan Fontaine will be your star in Leave Her to Heaven on the Lux Summer Theater on CBS Radio tomorrow evening. You'll enjoy this celebrated story of a ruthless woman who destroys the things she loves, and you'll like Joan Fontaine in this dramatic role. That's Leave Her to Heaven, starring Joan Fontaine, tomorrow evening's Lux Summer Theater show on most of these same CBS radio stations. And now, back to Escape.
You can take so much horror, and then you get used to it. And they weren't interesting to watch, you know. They couldn't understand the glass. They could see us, and they could rush at us, but that thin, invisible barrier held them off. It stopped them. From time to time, we caught a glimpse of the rocks below. More rats down there, swarming brown velvet in the bright tropical sunlight. And then the tide began to rise. If only it would drown some of them.
Ship's rats don't drown. No, sir.
You can't drown them. They're still climbing. They're all climbing up to the tower.
This bunch around us is getting thicker.
What's the time?
5:45. You got the first watch going.
Right.
Wake me at 10.
I will.
Come along, old goose.
It was getting dark. One side of the room was lit a soft, filtered red. Sunset through the rafts. Oh, very pretty. I set the wick to check my fuel and then lit the lamp. It caught them. Lit them in their gigantic, wriggling web of pale, hairless bellies, twitching red tails, bright eyes. And I started the rotary motor. The light drove them mad. As she swung slowly and smoothly about, she blinded them in a fierce, stabbing bar of light, moving continually about, ever turning, ever touching, ever moving around and around, and they twitching and shuddering, eyes flaming when they were struck by the light, the bright light moving, and behind, on the dark side of the room, so close I dared not turn my back, but you can't help turning your back when you're in a room made of glass. On the dark side of the room, you couldn't see them, but only their eyes. Thousands of points of blank red light, blinking and twinkling like the stars of hell. Louis relieved me at 10. But I didn't get much sleep that night, and when I came up into the gallery early the next morning, there stood Auguste, his back to me. He was bowing to the raft, waving his arms, and so help me, making a speech.
And this morning, my dear audience, I'm going to play once again that magnificent role which made me the toast of the Paris Theater. Pulaski, the evil genius of the medieval underworld. I am he who did guide the dark soul of the Maréchal into the nether paths.
He kept turning. I stood staring at him, horror-struck, but he didn't notice me. The man had gone mad. He kept turning, telling his stories to all the rats, leaving no one out. Albert! Albert!
Ah, another one. A latecomer. Take a seat on the aisle, dear faithful.
Stop it! Stop it! He didn't stop. He went on, bowing and scraping to the raft, his big blue eyes rolling and winking, his wild red hair waving about him. I grabbed him by the arms and slapped his face. And he looked at me like a child, and then his face screwed up as though he were about to cry. Go below. Go on.
Oh, very well, then. Later, my dear audience. Later.
Matinee today. Sure, he was crazy. I guess we all were. A few hours later, he came back up and caught Louie and me teasing the rat. Yes? Sounds horrible? It was fun. We'd get right up against the glass and make faces at them. It drove them crazy. They would scratch away trying to get at our eyes. Auguste joined in, too. Oh, very ingenious, Auguste. He learned that if he spread himself against the glass, they'd bunch and bundle against his figure. Then he'd leap back. Look! My portrait in red! It went on all day like that. We put Auguste in bed. He went to sleep like a baby, smiling. And then it was about midnight. I was very tired, and I was just beginning to fall off to sleep myself when I became conscious of the new sound. I couldn't figure it at first. I got up, I lit the lamp, went to the window. And even as I looked at it, I saw one of the panes begin to sag. They'd eaten the wood away. Louis, come quick!
What is it?
They found a way in. I held the glass with my hand. Now they were all going crazy, and assured of the success of this maneuver, were all nibbling away at the wood. Louis ran below and then returned with a large sheet of tin. Set it against the window and hammered it into place. Even as we did so, we felt the heavy bodies thudding against the other side as the window gave way.
It ought to hold. If it doesn't, we're done for.
Rats can't eat tin.
No, they can't. What was that?
I don't know.
It came from below.
The storeroom window.
They're in. They're swarming up the stairs.
Drop the trap.
Right.
Two of them got in. Get them. We didn't have time to get them. They came to us. I leapt to one side. I grabbed them all and spiked, swung, and smashed one in midair. I whirled to see Louis with the other. It had ripped his hand open. The blood was pouring all over the place. He held his hand aloft and kicked at the snarling rat, and I stepped and swung and got him.
My hand. He got my hand.
That's both of them, Louis. I'll get you something to tie that up.
Blood. Look at my blood. I'm bleeding.
Don't worry about it, Louis. Here, all right. I want this handkerchief around it. It'll be okay.
Blood.
Here. There you are. There. That's not bad. Now, it's just the flesh. And then I became conscious of a new sound. They were gnawing their way through the wooden trapdoor. I watched the wood, fascinated. And even as I did, it began to give way, and a bristling, whiskery nose showed through. Louis, we've got to go up. The next level was the living quarters and kitchen. I slammed the trap there, but it too was a wood.
My blood. John, what are we going to do?
I don't know. They'll be through this one in a moment.
The gallery. The trapdoor in the gallery is metal.
Good, come on. We lay across the trap exhausted while below us the rats took over the entire tower. I could hear them howling and fighting over our food supply, our water, our leather. And all about us the others screamed and glared in at us, swayed in a tangled mass, hypnotized by the ever-turning light. By morning, the air in the little room was horrible. Until now, we'd been getting air from the tower below, and now that was sealed off, and so was all our food and water. We lay exhausted, panting, waiting. The hours crawled on. I was almost dozing from fatigue when I heard a sight that brought me too fast.
Would you like to come in, my beauties, would you? I hold the powers of life and death, and I can let you in, you know.
Auguste was standing by the glass, and in one hand he held a big wrench. He was tapping the glass gently, not quite hard enough to break it. Slowly, I eased myself to my feet and slowly, very slowly, tiptoed toward him. All I have to do is tap just a little harder. I found a coil of wire in the toolkit, and I trussed him up, fastened him to a stanchion in the center of the room. Louis was of no help. He lay on his side, looking at his bloody hand, weak and sick as a baby. So there I was, a lunatic and a coward for company.
night I tended the light, but its flame was devouring our oxygen. The following day, we lay thirst-tormented, starving, waiting. And the following night, I again tended the light, but the small supply of spare wicking we kept in the gallery had become exhausted. And at about midnight, the light began to flicker. And slowly, so slowly, began to go out. There was nothing I could do. Wicks were stored 3 levels below. Nothing I could do. Nothing. From time to time, I'd strike a match to see the clock. And when I did, it lit up the million red eyes about us. All about. Watching. Waiting. Below, it had grown quiet. They'd cleaned us out, and now they, too, were waiting. All waiting. And then the rat, quite suddenly, was silent. And then I heard it. And then I saw the sky and the stars. The rats were gone. I went to the glass. Out there on the water, a small freighter, a banana boat showing a few lights, came softly and innocently at us. The light was out. They didn't know. I wanted to open the windows to call out to them, to warn them. But I was afraid. What if the rats were hiding from me, tricking me? So I waited. She grounded very softly on a reef not 200 yards from the quay. Grounded so gently that the man playing the cornet, was he a passenger, a crewman of watch, didn't even stop playing. They tried washing her off. I could have told them to save their fuel. The tide was rising, would have floated her free. And I waited. That's all. That's the story. The sun came up, and there wasn't a rat on the whole quay. Every last one of that terrible army had left us, gone back to sea on their new ship. August, insane asylum. He never recovered. And Louis, they took him into Cayenne where he died of blood poisoning from his bites. Yes, that's the whole of it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must go set my trap. Oh, no. Mouse trap. No rats in this lighthouse. I should say not. Life in the lights isn't bad. But sometimes when I see a strange vessel approaching, I get a little nervous. Yes. When you know that somewhere on the sea there's a little banana boat without a crew, that is, without a human crew.
Under the direction of Anthony Ellis, Escape has brought you Three Skeleton Key by Georges Toudoux, adapted by James Poe, starring Ben Wright as Jean, Paul Frees as Louis, and Jane Novello as Auguste. The special music for Escape was composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
You are 100 miles from your own lines, waiting for the enemy who will lead you to your destination, while with every moment the danger to you and your men becomes more acute. For if you are discovered, the only road of escape will be death.
So listen next week when Escape will bring you Gus Bay's exciting story, The 13th Truck. Tomorrow evening, CBS Radio's Crime Classics presents the stirring story of the Axe and the Droot family, how they fared. It's several pages of criminal history you're sure to enjoy. So be listening for Crime Classics, presented by CBS Radio tomorrow evening on most of these same CBS radio stations. This is George Walsh speaking. And remember, there's action as a policeman really finds it in 21st Precinct, Tuesdays on the CBS Radio Network.
Instant Ralston and regular Ralston, the hot whole wheat cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages, present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy have landed their spaceship in a desolate region of Planet X, as directed by the mysterious native Ortho, who is guiding them from a distance by thought waves.
Commander, there's Baccarati's ship. I can see it above us through the Astrodome.
Yes, he's coming in to attack.
I sure hope Ortho knows what he's doing, telling us to land here. Hey, what happened to Ortho? His face is gone from the viewscope.
Ortho, can you hear us? That's us now. Fire Space Torpedo 1.
It's jammed, sir.
Fire 2.
They're both jammed. And Baccarat...
He's firing at us.
And here we are like a sitting duck. Ortho double-crossed us.
We'll return in just a moment for today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, The Secret of the Adargo Ruins. Hi, Space Patrollers. This is Dick Tufeld in Los Angeles watching a trial run of a huge rocket clubhouse. The biggest prize ever given away. First prize in the Name the Planet contest. And there it goes. Zooming down the highway, pulled along by an honest-to-goodness motor truck. Say, gang, you know how big that rocket clubhouse is? It's 35 feet long, big as a freight car. You know how much it weighs? A tremendous 10,000 pounds. And you can win a rocket clubhouse, plus a motor truck, plus $1,500 cash just for naming Planet X. Yes, you and your pals can go rolling off to real adventure in a clubhouse with built-in sleeping bunks, electric lights, equipment lockers, even a cooking stove. Gang, just think of living like a real space patroller in your rocket clubhouse on wheels. And talk about fun. Think of those 750 Schwinn varsity bicycles being given away as second prizes. Yes, you've got 750 chances to win a Schwinn, the bike with 3-speed gear shift, 2-wheel handbrakes, and all the other famous Schwinn features. And say, don't forget the 1,000 third prizes. 250 Autosonic space rifles, 250 outer space helmets, 250 Space Patrol emergency kits, and 250 wonderful stainless steel Space Patrol wristwatches. So stand by for the latest news about how to enter your name for Planet X in the Name the Planet contest. And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, The Secret of the Adargo Ruins. Commander Corey and Happy are now on the man-made planet Terra, where Buzz is organizing a task force for an assault on Planet X. Although Buzz and Happy wrecked Prince Baccarati's delicate and complex defense control monitor in Baccarati's castle, the Space Patrol forces dare not make an all-out attack on installations on Planet X. For to do so would endanger thousands of innocent natives, forced into labor by the evil prince and also would harm hundreds of skilled technicians held captive on the remote planet. Right now, in the Commander's central office in Space Patrol headquarters, Cadet Happy is sorting out all available information on Planet X installation.
Chemical processing plant. Let's see, what's the buzz here? How you doing, Happy? Oh, it's pretty slow work, sir, but I'm nearly through all the data in File E. And that big blow-up map of Planet X sure makes it a lot easier to fit things into a pattern.
You can see now what a big job this is and why we can't launch an attack until every detail is worked out in advance.
Yes, sir. Baccarati's got plants and installations scattered all over Planet X. And what a whopper of a planet that is.
If this work wasn't so urgent, I'd like to turn it over to a couple of aides and blast off with Jupiter.
Jupiter?
Yes, Jupiter Patrol just reported the biggest robbery to hit the outer planets in years. More than 1 million credits.
Wow.
2 men walked into the home office of Jupiter Expansion Corporation, picked up the credits, and walked out. 6 armed guards just stood around while the bandits helped themselves to the payroll.
You mean they didn't even try to stop the bandits?
No, and the strange thing is the guards themselves admitted it, with no alibis.
That is strange.
The payroll is for several hundred construction workers and engineers who have been working on different Jupiter moons for 6 months. And then are due in at Jupiter City tomorrow.
Oh, it's on Major Robertson's circuit, Commander.
I'll get it here. Corey here.
Commander, Jupiter Headquarters Space Patrol new lead on the robbery.
Yeah?
Space Patrol agent found a gas cartridge concealed in the room near the vault. That might explain why the guards didn't offer resistance.
What was it?
Diphenazone.
Diphenazone?
Yeah, that's right. And we got a description of one of the bandits. 4 of the guards positively identified him as Slag Cronin.
Nice work, Robbie. How soon can you take over up here?
In about 5 minutes.
Good. Corey out. I'm happy you know who was behind that Jupiter robbery.
Who, sir?
Baccarati. Slag Cronin is one of his men.
But what about the guards? Were they working for Baccarati, too?
The guards could be entirely innocent. They were affected by diphenazone.
What's that, sir?
According to a space surgeon who was among the men we brought back from Planet X, diphenazone is a gas developed by Baccarati's pal, Dr. Malengo. It's odorless and renders a person completely unable to reason. Malengo must have developed some sort of counteractive medicine that made Baccarati's men immune to the gas.
No wonder the bandits got away with it so easily.
I'm turning this end of our work over to Robbie. You and I are going after Slag Cronin.
Great. But how do we know where to look?
Baccarati needs that money to rebuild his defense equipment. From Baccarati's viewpoint, the safest place for that money right now is on Planet X. Billions of miles from Terra in Baccarati's castle on Planet X, Dr. Malengo ruefully surveys the smashed controls of the elaborate defense system. He turns as Prince Baccarati enters from his communications room in the lofty tower. It'll take weeks to repair, Your Highness. Even if we had the technicians on hand to do the work.
We don't have to worry, Malengo.
But, Excellency, without our defenses, the Space Patrol can attack Planet X at will.
I've just heard from Slag Cronin. He's on his way here with 1 million credits.
What good are United Planet's credits here on Planet X?
Don't you see? Cronin can hide out here. Then, as my agents make contact with engineers on the other planets, we can pay them to construct new controls.
Oh, and bring them here in spaceships.
Exactly. They can be made in sections and assembled here in the castle by a few men. The engineers that actually construct the equipment won't even need to know that it will be used against the Space Patrol.
Then Cronin is coming right here to the castle.
No. I ordered him to hide out in the Adargo room, 500 miles to the east.
But, Excellency, why should he hide out?
Because we can be sure that we won't be getting a visit from the Space Patrol ship. I'm not expecting an attack so soon, but Corey may send a scout ship to see what we're up to.
That's true, Your Highness.
As a matter of fact, Corey has already blasted off from Terra.
For Planet X?
I don't know. Our agents couldn't find it out. We'll be notified of his rapture, however.
How fortunate that Corey didn't have time to wreck our spaceophone equipment.
Yes. And with our spies still operating on the other planet, we'll know if Corey or any of his ships are on their way here.
Your Highness, if you'll pardon my saying so, wouldn't it be better to have Cronin bring the credits to one of your other installations? Why is Adargo ruined?
They are hundreds of miles from any of my factories or installations. And they look like what they are, the ruined buildings of a vanished civilization. No Space Patrol ship is going to land and prowl around there.
I understand. A brilliant decision, Excellency.
Of course. Now, let's check with our agents. Perhaps they've discovered something new about Corey.
Many hours later, the Terra 5, with Commander Corey at the controls, is far beyond the orbit of Pluto, headed for Planet X. Using secret code and scrambled spaceophone circuits, Cadet Happy has contacted Space Patrol headquarters of the various planets.
And now, to prevent Baccarati from picking up any suspicious signal, Happy has cut off the laser-phone transmitter.
Nobody's sighted Slag Cronin so far, sir.
Sooner or later, he's going to contact Baccarati. Baccarati will attempt to contact him. I want to be in a position to intercept those calls.
Sir, I've been thinking about this native ortho that helped us get off Planet X the last time.
What about him?
Well, I just can't get over the way he was able to project thoughts and images.
Well, we do it in a crude sense. Spaceophone, viewscope, a brainograph.
Yeah, but he just uses his mind. How come we can't do it?
Perhaps if we tried it for as many generations as his people have, we could do the same thing.
Oh, Commander, maybe we could get Ortho to help us some more.
No, Hap. Our battle is with Baccarati. All those people have isolated themselves because they want to live in peace. Besides, Hap, how would you suggest contacting Ortho?
Yeah, that's right. We don't even know where this Golden Valley is.
Right. Now we'll concentrate on Slag Cronin and Prince Baccarati. Thousands EUs toward Planet X. A spaceship with a black falcon on its hull prowls the dark void. Intently, Prince Baccarati and Dr. Malengro scan the viewscope.
Corey's ship crossed the Pluto orbit hours ago, so he must be coming to Planet X.
I wonder what his plan is this time.
Well, he won't get a chance to put it in operation, Malengo.
You think he's after Slag Cronin?
If he is, it's a stupid move. Cronin is already hiding out at the Adargo room. Corey could never find
Your
him.
Highness, look. That thing's out of the viewscope. It must be a spaceship.
Maintain this exact distance, and we'll cut on the radar foil in case he picks us up. He'll never be able to pinpoint our...
Clear in the viewscope, sir.
Good. We'll come in low on the dark side of Planet X and find our way by infrared viewscope.
My friends from another planet, listen to me.
Mr. Ortho.
You are in grave danger.
No, but he's doing it again, like he did the last time. His face is appearing in the viewscope.
Yes, Ortho. You're contacting us all right. What is it?
You are in dire peril.
We expect to be on Planet X.
You are in danger out in space. I sense it. It is coming closer.
Hey, he's right, sir. The rear viewscope. See it?
The radar foil blur. And a Baccarati ship beside of it.
We can't tell what he's doing here. Not with that radar foil confusing our viewscopes.
Thanks for the warning, Ortho. We'll just have to outrun them.
Let me help you land on the planet. I will guide you in safely.
You don't understand. If we land, he could blast us easily.
I can protect you, believe me. Your enemy will never find you.
The blur's getting bigger, Commander. Baccarati's gaining.
All right, Ortho. Looks like this is your party. What are your instructions?
Come directly to the center of the planet as you see it. You will see a broad river flowing south between two ranges of high mountains.
Then what?
Far to the east of the river is a desert, then bleak hills, barren and desolate. But beyond those hills is the land of the lumens, our golden valley. That is fine, my friend. Hold that altitude.
There's a barren hill, but I don't see any golden valley.
Land your ship just after you cross the hills.
Ortho, we don't see anything that looks like a golden valley. It's just a stretch of barren, rocky land.
Commander, the ship doesn't seem to be gaining on us, judging by the size of the radar foil blur.
Probably waiting to see what we're going to do.
Land your ship. Set it down quickly.
Commander, I can't see anything in the rear viewscope.
In case, we might as well follow Ortho's directions. Stand by for landing, Happy. We'll make this quick. Fire nose rockets. Full repeller ray. Stand by to fire space guns, Happy.
Standing by, sir. Hey, what happened to Ortho?
Space is gone from the viewscope. Ortho. Ortho, can you hear us?
Commander, there's Baccarati's ship. I can see it through the astrodome.
Fire space torpedo 1.
It's jammed, sir.
Fire 2.
They're both jammed. And Baccarati's coming in.
He's firing at us.
And here we are like a sitting duck. Ortho double crossed us.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. Space Patrollers, attention. Here's how to enter your name for Planet X in the Name the Planet contest. Just go with Mom or Dad to your Weatherbird shoe store. The Weatherbird shoe man will give you a free prize, a swell interplanetary coin album with 3 real space coins inside,
glowing silver-colored coins, big as a $50, with swell designs of planets on them. And also inside the album, your Name the Planet contest entry blank, with directions for submitting your name for Planet X. Now, gang, if there's no Weatherbird shoe store in your neighborhood, find out where else to get your coin album and entry blank by looking on the back of a package of good, hot Ralston, either instant or regular. The new package, with a picture of the Commander Corey or Cadet Happy on the front. But hurry, see your Weatherbird shoe man or check a hot Ralston package and enter the Name the Planet contest now. And now, back to the secret of the Adargo ruins. Following the instructions of the mysterious native of Planet X, Ortho the Lumen, Commander Corey and Cadet Happy landed their spaceship on the planet, with Baccarati's ship close behind them. Through his strange power of thought and image transference, Ortho had assured Buzz they would land safely in a golden valley. Instead, their ship is an obvious target on the bleak, rugged ground in the desolate region of Planet X. Evidently abandoned by their would-be protector, Buzz and Happy vainly try to fire space guns at Baccarati as the evil prince rains explosives all around them. In Baccarati's ship, the prince and Dr. Malengro make repeated passes over the Terra 5.
You made me miss them again, Malengro. Can't you keep the ship on a steady run?
Something's wrong with the viewscope target finder.
Well, I'll get them this time. I did it! A direct hit. I got Corey at last.
Your marksmanship is astounding, sire.
You see that? Not a trace of the ship remains. Not a trace. Do you realize what this means?
I prefer to hear the tidings from you, Excellency.
Ask Corey. It will take the Space Patrol weeks to prepare in it. By that time, I'll have my defenses back in operation. Planet X will again be an impregnable stronghold.
Excellent.
From then on, I shall resume my plan. Now, let's go to the Adargo ruins and get Flat Cronin and my million credits.
As Baccarati's ship roars away toward the northeast, a cloud of dust settles over the place where the prince had seen Buzz Corey's ship disappear in a blinding flash. Yet, at this same moment, 2 miles away, Buzz and Happy stand unhurt, peering out of the viewport of an entirely undamaged Terra 5.
Can you beat that? He fires half a dozen torpedoes and then scoots away.
Must be out of ammunition, Happy.
What a terrible shot he is. Not that I'm complaining, of course.
Did you notice all of his torpedoes hit in the same place, about 2 miles away?
All I can say is it's sure a lucky break after the way this Ortho deserted us and him in his golden... Commander, look.
Just noticing, Happy. A minute ago, there was nothing out there but gray rocks and desolation. And now,
trees, grass, and flowers.
Beautiful. A golden valley.
Well, why didn't we see it before? I guess we were so concerned about Baccarati that... Hey, look out there. Someone coming toward the ship.
It's Ortho, the same face we saw in the viewscope.
Uh-huh. Beard, robe, and all. It looks like he's waiting for us to come out.
Let's go, Hack. We owe him an apology.
Apology? What for? For bringing us down here so that Baccarati could blast?
Leave your ray gun in the ship. I don't think we'll need weapons here. And it might offend Ortho.
Yes, sir. But if he tries any more tricks...
Let's give him a chance to explain that. Open the hatch.
Yes, sir.
Before we open the outer hatch, Happy, remember that Ortho can tell what we're thinking. He probably knows I'm telling you this right now.
Yes, sir. I understand.
I am Ortho.
Yes, Ortho. We recognize you from your projected image.
First, I feel I owe you an apology. I know you thought that I had deceived you.
That's right, we did for a while.
It was necessary in order to confuse your enemy. My mind had to project an image of your spaceship some distance away, and at the same time conceal the actual ship. To perform this enormous concentration, I had to withdraw my thoughts from contact with your mind.
Oh, so that was it. Baccarati thought he saw our ship clear over there.
Yes. And when the last explosive hit, I merely stopped thinking of the image. It vanished.
This sort of thing is new and strange to us, Ortho, but we're very grateful.
I know your motive is to drive these evil men from our world. Planet X, as we call it.
If our guns hadn't jammed, we'd have taken care of part of the job right then.
I know. I hope you won't be offended. but I am responsible for that.
Huh? You mean you can jam a weapon just by thinking about it?
In some cases, I can control certain electrochemical processes if the distance is not too great. In this instance, I was able to inhibit the explosion of your spacecraft.
Yeah, but why? Why didn't you keep Baccarati's weapons from working? Well, Happy, after all, Ortho made Baccarati believe he'd finished it. That's quite a favor. Sure, but I thought Ortho wanted to get rid of Baccarati, too.
My people want only to rid this planet of the evil Baccarati causes. You do not believe in taking life. I do not blame you for trying to use your weapons. You were not convinced that I could save you.
Yes, that's right.
However, I knew you were in no danger, so I prevented you from taking human life needlessly.
I'm in favor of what you did, Ortho. Our aim is to capture Baccarati and his men alive. We have a process treating criminals medically and psychologically to remove their criminal tendencies. Completely painless. In fact, the criminal isn't even aware of the time it takes to effect a cure.
I know that, Commander.
You mean you know everything we're thinking? Everything we know?
Not quite everything. That would take more time. But I do know what is uppermost in your mind.
Then we really don't need to say a word.
No, except that you probably feel more at ease if we exchange ideas through speech. Since you're not used to having thoughts placed directly in your mind by others.
It is rather startling. But tell me about this valley. How does it happen we didn't see it until a few minutes ago?
That was the result of the combined concentration of all my people. We know when strangers are approaching. We conjure up a mass image of forbidding terrain. For centuries, this has kept the more primitive, marauding tribes from invading our valley.
Where are the rest of your people?
Deep in the forest of the valley. I would invite you to visit us, but I sense that the commander is concerned about a problem.
Yes, Ortho. You're right.
You came here searching for a man who has stolen something of great value to your civilization. The man is called Sladcon.
That's right. Then he is on Planet X.
Yes. Several of us sensed his evil presence a few hours ago.
Where is he? In Baccarati's castle?
No. He is hiding in the ruins of an ancient civilization about 800 miles northeast of here. The Adargo ruins.
Adargo ruins?
Yes. Immense buildings of red stone, filled with statues and carvings. You will find them impressive, but grotesque. Be very careful, my friend.
We will, Ortho. And we're very grateful you saved our lives.
But at no risk of my own. You are risking yours to bring peace to our planet. Listen, and I will tell you how to stand.
Hundreds of miles away from the Golden Valley, a man stands between the pillars of an ancient temple, chipped and worn by time. He watches as a spaceship lands beside his own. Two men get out and come toward him up the temple steps.
Now, Conan, where is it?
I've got it, don't worry.
You will address me as Your Highness. Quick, give me the pen.
Just a minute, Your Highness.
You heard him, Conan. Do as you're told.
Look, I'm talking to the prince. Your Highness, I'm taking my share of the loot and getting off this stupid planet now.
How dare you? Your share of the loot. Haven't I protected you from the space patrol?
I want 100,000 and the use of that spaceship, the one I came here in.
I all the insolence.
Look, Baccarati, I can keep the whole million. Remember, I'm the only one that knows where it is.
All right, Conan. You can have 100,000. Now, where is the money?
Right inside the temple, under a flagstone.
All right. Take me to it, quickly.
This way. Yeah. It's under this one.
Well, lift it up. Help him, Malengo.
Yes,
By the way, Conan, where is your partner?
I don't have a partner, not anymore. He met with an actor.
Oh, and now you don't have to split with him.
Oh, that's right. Well, there's the money. 1 million credits.
Splendid. And now, Dr. Malengo, you will notice that I don't have to split with Conan.
Nicely done, Your Highness. The gun but dazed him. But I don't think you'll be unconscious long. Perhaps we should pick up the money and get to the ship.
I'll get the money. We'll leave Conan here. You take his spaceship to the castle, and I'll fly my own.
Very well, Your Highness.
All right, Roccolati, stay right where you are.
Hurry! He can't be alive. He can't be.
I'll take that gun, Malengo.
You'll have to catch me first.
After it, Happy, I'll take care of Baccarati.
He's behind that idol, Commander.
I see him. He thought that door back there would open. Come back here, Malengo.
All right, Commander. Hey, quit pushing that idol. Run, Your Highness.
Come back here, Baccarati.
Commander, the idol is falling.
Commander, you all right? Help me roll the rock off my leg. Yes, no bones broken. Oh, my ankle. You stay here. I'll grab the Baccarati and Malengo. Hey, look, they're nearly to their ship. Maybe I can stop them with the ray gun blast. It's fired. Mine doesn't work either, sir. We're both knocked down too hard. Over the fall wrecked the gun. Or it's ortho again. Doesn't he know that all these guns would do is to make Baccarati unconscious without hurting him? He may be cutting off all weapons. Doggone it, sir. Baccarati and Malengo got away. Yes, it's got what they came for. We captured Slag Cronin and recovered the 1,000,000 credits. Let's get Slag back to our ship now. Yes, sir. But what if Baccarati blasted before we get to it? I think our friend Ortho is taking care of that. I bet Baccarati is hopping mad. He was probably counting on this 1,000,000 credits to rebuild his defenses. After we return the money to Jupiter, we'll go back to Terra and plan our attack on Planet X. Look, Commander. Look what's all over the floor. Jewels. Inside the idol. There's a fortune here. Standing by the race that built this temple. I'll bet there's more than 1,000,000 credits worth. If Baccarati had known about this, he could have saved himself a lot of trouble. Let's go, Hap. We've got work to do.
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment.
Hi, Space Patrollers. This is Commander Toy. You know, gang, the way I warm up inside when it's chilly outside is with the super cereal that helps to supercharge you. Good hot Ralston. So why don't you try it today? Instant or regular Ralston. Look for them in the new red and white checkerboard packages with a picture of Cadet Happy or me on the outside. And know what you'll find inside? A swell interplanetary space coin. Big as a $50, made of husky plastic with designs of planets on them in glowing space colors. Midnight blue coins, sun gold coins, and jet black coins, too. You can get even more terrific space coins, plus a handsome album to keep them in, along with your Name the Planet contest entry at your Weatherbird shoe store. So hurry, get a package of good hot Ralston today and start building up your space coin collection now.
And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Mars and Happy are in the refrigeration control compartment of their spaceship on a flight to Venus. The air is rapidly leaking from their ship when they discover a gigantic worm clinging to the wall of the ship.
Take this bar and knock it loose, Hap.
Yes, sir. It won't come loose, and it's as hard as metal.
You're right, Hap. And that's what it eats. It's feeding on the Endurium bulkhead. That's how the air's escaping.
Smoking rockets, Commander. It's eating clear through the hull.
Get into your helmet or it'll suffocate.
Be sure to join us again next week for the thrilling story, The Iron Eaters of Planet X, when Instant Lawson and Regular Lawson again present Space Patrol! Space Patrol, created by Mike Moses, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Tory and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Devereaux. Other players were Bela Kovacs, Ken Mayer, and Norman Jolly. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Instant Lawson and Regular Lawson again present Space Patrol! Dick Tufeld reporting on America's most heavily armed fighter interceptor, the Northrop Air Force Scorpion F-89D. In a moment, we'll hear from the test pilot on this plane, Bob Love, Korean jet ace with a record of 6 MiGs in 6 weeks. Primary job of the Scorpion is to protect our country from invading aircraft. Speed, more than 600 miles per hour. Weight, 20 tons. Now, Bob Love, recorded at Edwards Air Force Base.
You know, a fellow has to be in top condition to test fly a fast aircraft such as the Scorpion. And that's why I always make it a rule to sleep well and eat well. So, for breakfast, I pick a cereal like Rice Chex or Wheat Chex. They're chock full of energy, that really taste good. You'll like it.
No other cereal, Puff or Flake, contains so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. So take a tip from Bob Love, Phil Houghton, and other top test pilots. Make your cereals Rice Chex and Wheat Chex. Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol story on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.